Good morning and welcome to day 2 of heats here at the British Swimming Championships 2019, live from our Deep End Live studio. My name's John Mason, I'm the host for the entire week, and what a week it is set to be. Last night was an absolutely incredible way to kick off the Swimming Championships. Now joining me here for the entire week is our resident swimming expert in the know. It's James Goddard, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Jimmy.
Good morning, day 2, so excited. Day 1 was amazing last night, some super fast racing, looking forward to today.
Yeah, I mean, what a way, as you said, super fast racing, what a way to kick it off. We had some incredible races last night. What were some highlights for you?
Oh, wow, there's so many. Dan Jervis was so impressed. I know we were both really impressed with Dan Jervis, weren't we? Just the way, when he came in, we interviewed him here, and the way he spoke about his teammates and his coaches and how they really helped him, told us that he's not a morning person, you know, so he obviously finds morning training really difficult. So him getting up in the morning and coming to training every single day is a bit of a challenge for him, maybe. And he's got his teammates and he's got his coaches there to help him through that, and he spoke so well.
Yeah.
So Dan Jervis for me was a great swim.
Definitely a highlight for me as well, and sort of knowing sort of what he needs to work on and focusing on that with the Olympics or sort of insight for next year.
Yeah, this is it. It's so important as a swimmer to have that focus, know exactly what you need to do and nail it, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah, close race as well in the women's 200 meters.
Yeah, so close. Freya
second.
Anderson and Holly Hibbert, 1/100th separating those two ladies in that 2 and 3. So exciting down that last 10 meters. It was almost like they had a little bit extra in the tank, because the last 10 meters you could see they were looking at each other, breathing to the same side and sprinting down that last 10 meters to see who could get it on the touch. And it was just Freya Anderson this time by 1/100th. So exciting.
So close, so close. Of course, we saw Adam Peaty, our first athlete to book his spot on the World Championships team, went under the official time and getting that first place. Incredible swim, but not just by him as well. We had 4 athletes go under a minute in that 100-meter breaststroke. Amazing.
I was saying last night, I wish we could have a 4x100 breaststroke men's team. That would be amazing. We'd like smash it in the world. Yeah, Adam Peaty, of course, gets the qualifying time, guarantees his place at the World Championships. James Wilby went 58.6 to come second. He was actually under the first place qualifying time as well, but he's well inside the consideration time, so it looks like he probably will be going to the Worlds. But fantastic swim from James Wilby as well, 58.6, amazing.
Nervous weight though, of course. That will all be announced next week. This is a qualification event for the World Championships coming up later on this year in South Korea. But before we get to that, we've got to hear from some of our sponsors, so let's take a look at what they've got to say. So there you have it, just a little look at what's to come this year. It's not just the World Championships, but the European Short Course Championships coming back here to Glasgow in December. So loads to look forward to in and around the British swimming world in 2019. As you can see up on our wall here, we had our very first Best of British making their way up onto our board. That's going to keep growing throughout this week. And of course, some new names are going to be up there by the end of today. So speaking of today, let's have a look at what we got to come this morning. Who's racing tonight, etc. What we're going to see in the pool. So let's take a look just quickly We started with the men's 50-meter breaststroke, then the women's 50-meter butterfly, the men's 200 fly, the women's 100-meter backstroke, the men's 100-meter backstroke, the women's 200-meter breaststroke, and then, of course, finishing with the women's 800-meter freestyle. So, Jimmy, who should we be keeping our eye out for tonight? Who are your picks in that pool?
But let's kick off with the 50 breaststroke. How about the world record holder, world champion, Olympic champion, Adam Peaty, of course. Won the 100 in style last night, 57.8. Not bad for Adam Peaty, puts him way up there in the world. 50 breaststroke, got to watch him. He actually Instagrammed last night that this is the best that his stroke is feeling ever in his career. So, and I think this morning in the heats, he's going to smash it. I think he's going to really go for it. So Adam Peaty, of course, looking forward to seeing James Guy in the pool, ex-world champion in the 200 freestyle. He's in the 200 fly today, fastest qualifier, so we'll see how he goes. Looking forward to seeing Jocelyn Uliet in the 200 breaststroke, actually. She broke the British record 2 years ago, and if she can, copy that time that she did 2 years ago, she'll get that first place qualification and guarantee a place. So I'd love to see her step up, get right on her personal best, because that'll guarantee her ticket to the World Championships.
Yeah, fingers crossed for those athletes. I'm also very much looking forward to the women's 100-meter backstroke. We've got Georgia Davis back in the pool. Last year, in this pool here, silver medal in that event at the Europeans. She was also a silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games last year on the Gold Coast. So be interested to see how she's doing at the start of this season. Yeah.
I mean, she's naturally a bit more of a sprinter, so 50 to 100, but obviously she's got to focus on that 100 because the Olympics next year, there's no 50 meters backstroke at the Olympics. We could put a really good relay team together as well with that women's 4x1 medley relay. And she looks in great shape as well. She always looks in great shape. She's got a great physique. She's a big, strong woman. And I think she'll go well.
Yeah, had a little chat to her the other day when she first came in. She said she was feeling good, so we'll see how it goes. So that's what's coming up for you this morning. Heat today, qualifying times, 8 fastest tonight, making it through to those finals. So good luck to all the athletes. But before we get to that, here's another word from one of our sponsors.
The latest in TechSuit innovation. Frictionless fiber construction. Surface lift technology. Endo compression cage. Seamless exo shell. Tier Benzo. Battleborn.
And a very good morning to you. Welcome to day 2 of the British Championships of 2019 here in Tollcross in Glasgow. I'm Bob Ballard. Alongside me will be for this session, indeed all the sessions for the remainder of the week, Becky Adlington, the double gold medalist from Beijing 2008. And the program this morning will have a mixture of pretty much everything for you. We have one of the longer events for the women and the shorter events for the men. We're kicking off with that in just a few moments' time. The 50 breaststroke heats up at 10 o'clock. Then we'll have the butterfly heats for the women over 50. 200 butterfly, the first sighting of James Guy this week in that. 100 backstroke, and then the 100 backstroke heats for men. 200 breaststroke heats for women, and then the 800 freestyle heats, of which we have 5 at 11:45. Good morning, Becky Adlington. What are you looking forward to?
Good morning. I'm looking forward to obviously seeing Mr. Adam Peaty back in the water. He had a fantastic night last night. It's kind of strange to think that his racing will be done by the end of the day, and we won't be. Yeah, he is. But at the same time, last night, I really hope that we get to see a good battle today. It'll be interesting with obviously Ross Murdoch and James Wilby. They are great 100 swims last night. They are more suited to the 200, but it'll be interesting to see what they pull out the bag this morning. Yeah,
we'll see both of them in a few moments' time. Adam will be going in heat number 9, so there are 9 heats of the 50 breaststroke as we introduce the officials. Craig Hunter overseeing things on pool deck. 50 butterfly, we'll be looking to see what the likes of Harriet Jones can do, and Emily Barkley, some of the younger ones coming through And the 200 butterfly, James Guy, obviously red-hot favourite to say that. Duncan Scott, who likes to mix things up these days, not just a freestyler, likes to get in on the butterfly. And his butterfly is improving in leaps and bounds, as you'd expect with a swimmer of his quality.
Yeah, his butterfly has come on so much, and I think it's kind of like one of those that they tend to now go hand in hand. I think James Guy, with obviously floating between the butterfly and the freestyle, arguably James Guy is better on the butterfly than the freestyle now, but it's good for Duncan. I think it's really good for him to just get in and race, blow those cobwebs away. We haven't seen him yesterday, so we'll see what sort of form he's on.
So, say 9 heats of the 50 breaststroke, lots around the 32nd mark until we get to the cyclically seeded heats, which start at number 7. There's lots of youngsters here. We'll be looking at the 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, actually a 15-year-old going in heat number 2 and in heat number 4 as well, and in heat number 6. So some of the young juniors, you've got to think that a lot of young swimmers who are coming through have decided maybe to go down the breaststroke route inspired by what Adam Peaty has done.
100%. You can't ignore the legacy that British swimming has in men's breaststroke, but to be in the same call room, to be on the same pool side as Adam Peaty, and the thing is here, our quality of breaststroke is so good. You are racing the world's best just by being at the British Championships, because these are the guys that are ranked so highly in the world. With everything else, yes, you have your one-offs, but here in men's breaststroke, it is just so strong.
Very exciting, and even more exciting in a couple of nights' time, we're going to see the 200 breaststroke. I think something quite special might happen in the 200 breaststroke later in the week. We'll see.
It's going to be a very good race.
First heat of the 50 breaststroke, starting down our commentary end, finishing at the far end. Charles Rennie of Braintree in lane 3, Rory Dixon of North Ayrshire in 4, Ian Lawrenson of Milford, all around the same time, 30.74, 30.75. Rory Dixon's having the best of the swims from the three of them at the moment, though at the far side, Ian Lawrenson's trying to keep tabs with him. As we go to the sideways on shot, we'll get an idea of just how far ahead the winner's going to be. It's going to be about almost a body length between him and the rest, and the first time that Rory Dixon has gone sub-30. Entry time of 30.74, and this morning is clocked a 29.96. So always good to knock down those little barriers, get below 30.
That's the thing I was most impressed with yesterday, the amount of personal best that we saw. It was almost like every single race there was personal best happening, and you want that at major championships. These swimmers, they don't get to rest back, taper back as much anymore, so the fact that they only get to do it a handful of times, this is one of those opportunities. And it isn't just the seniors going for the World Championships. Obviously, the juniors have got lots of opportunity with having Worlds and Euros as well. So there's lots of qualification for these guys, so it's nice to see them making such huge chunks off their personal best.
Full contingent going in heat number 2 of the 50 breaststroke. Oliver Stemp of Guildford, Jacob Arman of Darlington, Alexander Cahoon of Cirencester, Jonathan Milner of City of Leeds, Benjamin Fannon of Plymouth Leander, Josh Bristow of Modernian, there they are back again, Oliver Kettle of Portsmouth in 7, and Cameron White in lane number 8 for Guildford City. And again, all these times, entry times, are very closely aligned here. 30.56 is the best we have from lane 4, but I'll tell you what, Ben Farrow is thinking about taking this one if he possibly can. It's going to be a very tight one between 4 and 5. Just going to get there first is Jonathan Milner of Leeds, and he also has gone below that 30-second barrier for the first time. The 29.95 for the 18-year-old from Leeds. Second place went to Ben Farrow, just shy of that 30.10. And Alexander Cahoon with a 30.24. So fastest time of the first 2 heats there from the City of Leeds swimmer. Right, on to heat number 3. And all but one of the swimmers in this are 18. Only exception on that caption is Lewis Edwards Pratt from Plymouth Leander in lane number 7. All the others 18 again. Because of the nature of this event, all got very similar entry times, around 30.3, 30.4. Clubs represented here: Ellesmere College, Plymouth Leander, Edinburgh University, Winsford, City of Liverpool, Wickham District, Plymouth Leander, and Harrogate. And how's it developing at 25 as they come up towards 25? A pretty decent start from Andrew McIntosh of Edinburgh University, and also going at the top of the picture, well as Charles Rayner of Wickham District. In fact, it might well be him who's just in front, although coming through in 3 now, Andrew McIntosh of Edinburgh University. It's going to be between those. Edinburgh University is going to take this one. Andrew McIntosh will get there first. And again, another sub-30 swim for the first time. 29.79 for Andrew McIntosh. I think some local support, as you might imagine. It's just up the road in Edinburgh from Glasgow. And that's the fastest time of the morning so far. Each of the heats so far, one in a sub-30 time.
Especially for some of these guys. I mean, they will have had the 100 yesterday. It's really, really hard recovering after you've had a full day, getting a good night's sleep, resting up, making sure that you're on fire, and you've got to kind of twitch into that really fast speed element this morning. And some of these guys might be hurting a little bit from yesterday.
And as I mentioned in commentary yesterday, we're looking for the potential Adam Peters of 2024. We get around to the Olympic
I think
entry.
Adam will still be going there.
Well, he might well be, although he may have done everything he wants to do in the sport and hand the mantle over to somebody else, but we'll have to see. Heat number 4, these are the clubs involved: Millfield, Inverclyde, St Ives, Guildford City, Plymouth Leander, Mount Kelly, City of Leeds, and Mount Kelly again in lane number 8. Fastest in the field in entry time-wise is Charlie Trotman of Guildford City. Not developing quite that way at the moment because it's the orange cap of the St Ives swimmer James Quinn noting, but then 5 is starting to take charge here. That's Jaden Vulliets of Plymouth Leander. Oh, that's 3 or 5. You take your choice. I'm going to go for 3 at this stage. Ooh, it's very, very tight. It is 5. There you go. 29.99 for Vulliets. And again, his entry time is 30.15, so we can presume that's the best time he's ever done. Long course, 29.99. Second place going to William Ellington, just outside that 30 barrier. And third place to James Quinn of St Ives, who was there and thereabouts at the finish. Look at that, separated by 5/100ths of a second, the top 3. Heat number 5 of the 50 breaststroke. We'll get into the main movers and shakers when we get to Heat 7. These are the youngsters coming through again. All teenage, apart from Cameron Muir at 20, from City of Glasgow in 3. And the youngest will be the 16-year-old in the outside lane from York City, Jason Robson. We have 4 in fact, who've been sub-29 before, in sub-30 before in this field. Let's see whether they can back it up. The joint fastest are Morgan Newman and John Keane, who have 29.78 under their belt. But it's a brilliant start by the City of Cardiff's Kyle Booth. Let's see whether he can keep this up. Lane 2 got a brilliant, brilliant start, and probably got half a body length up on everybody from the start. And he's going to keep this going all the way through to the end. I think he is, and I think he's going to win this by about a body length in the end. Terrific swim by Kyle Booth. Excellent swim by the Cardiff swimmer. Not only has he gone down to the low 29s, he's gone beyond that, 28.90. So he's taken a full second off his personal best.
It's incredible. I can remember Kyle yesterday had a great 100 swim. He just missed that European junior time yesterday, but he swam a really, really solid time of 1 minute 2, I think he did yesterday. So he only slightly missed it, but he had a great final last night. So you expect him to then back it up this morning because he's full of confidence. He's full of that adrenaline that's going on because he knows he's on good form.
And let's hope that all the problems that Cardiff have at the moment with their pool is going to be resolved in due course, because there's a little bit of a question mark over its future, which is a real one when there's such a great facility down there in South Wales.
I love that pool. It's such a nice pool.
Heat number 6. And we do have a 15-year-old in Cameron Williams of Dartmoor, who swam very, very well yesterday in the 100. Let's see what he's going to do in the 50 here. Also, Loughborough, Ellesmere College, Wrekin, Belper, Edinburgh and City of Glasgow all represented here. And Adam Metcalf of Ellesmere College has had a very, very good start and is going to do exactly, I think, what we saw from Kyle Booth in the previous heat, and that's lead from start to finish and just about hold on here on the touch. Gets there in 29.01. So again, that's about half a second improvement on his previous best. Not quite as quick as Kyle Booth, but nonetheless a decent time. We had all but 2 go under 30 there. So some real improvements in time right through the lineup. So on to the cyclically seeded heats now of the 50 breast. I know you love me saying that. I know. I always look to you when I say that because I know a smile will start to emerge across your lips.
But you say it right every single time.
Well,
You just doubt yourself.
Heat number 7. And here we go with the 27s. And indeed, of course, when we get to Adam Peaty, the 25s. But he's to come in heat number 9. Heat number 7. I haven't got time to give you all the names, so I'll just give you the clubs represented. Millfield, Swansea University, Warren de Baths, Putteridge, University of Stirling, City of Derby, Nofio Clwyd, and North Lanarkshire are the 8 clubs being represented here. And that is a blistering start from Zach Aitchison of University of Stirling. He made the senior final of the 100 yesterday and is going for broke in lane number 5, and nobody's going to catch him right now. It's going to be Zach Aitchison in a time of 27.71, so just marginally outside his personal best, but only by 6/100ths of a second. Second place to Lawrence Palmer of Putteridge and Warren de Bath's Archie Goodburn in 3rd place.
I think Archie is one of those names to remember for the future. He had a great 100 last night, making that them juniors qualifications that he needed for the Europeans and the Worlds. Had a fantastic swim, one of the few juniors to qualify last night, so he's definitely a name for the future.
There's your lineup for heat number 8 of the 50 breaststroke, and the 2nd place and 3rd placed finishers in the 100 are in this one. James Wilby, who had an absolutely storming second 50 yesterday, which really bodes well for the 200 later in the week. Ross Murdoch, he and James will go head-to-head in that later in the competition. But right now, they're doing the splash and dash, which neither of them particularly like, but they'll both, obviously in the case of James Wilby, he did get a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games in this last year. And it's all what happens off the start here, and there's a very good start from Ross Murdoch, as indeed it was yesterday. Here comes Wilby, and here comes Mark Campbell as well from Aberdeen. All pretty much in a line. I expect Wilby to come through right at the end here. He has got some speed. He certainly has got plenty of it this morning, and he'll stop the clock at 27.10. Now his entry time, I'm not sure if that's his PB though, is 27.37. I think he must have gone quicker than that.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
Must have done that, although that would probably be his Commonwealth Games time, I would think, 27.37 last year. Is his entry time. Normally it's the last 2 years of swimming, so that's checking back. But 27.10 will get it done for the morning. 27.43 from Ross Murdoch and David Murphy of Sydney of Oxford with 28.11. Well, we saw what he did last night in the 100, and another exceptional performance. Making sure that sets himself absolutely right on schedule for the World Championship later this year. Qualification, first qualifier as of right, senior-wise. Adam Peaty goes in lane number 4. 25.95 is that world record. And he wasn't actually the best off the start there, which is rare.
That was a fantastic start.
But he's coming through with, well, everybody else, even at 25 now, is seemingly going backwards compared to what he's doing going forwards. They're all thinking about what they could do time-wise to qualify for their respective finals, but he's just thinking about doing something pretty quick, and pretty quick it is. 26.51. That would definitely get the job done as far as the morning's concerned. There will be plenty left in the tank. We'll see that later in the day. Craig Benson with 27.69. And 3rd place going to David Bloomfield in the outside lane from Loughborough in a 28.21.
It still astounds me that over 50 metres, it can still be 0.6 ahead of anyone else that has swam. And the shocking thing is, the other guys aren't that slow. It's not a case of that, everyone else isn't good, because they are. It's just Adam is just a different league.
1.18 seconds faster than everybody else.
Oh, yeah, but I mean overall in the qualifying, because obviously James will be.
But even in even in that heat, 1.18 ahead of James, Craig Benson. So there's your qualification 8 for tonight. So 3 from the University of Stirling right in there, 2 from Loughborough, and David Murphy, David Bloomfield make it through into, we're going to have a swim off. Oh, no, we're not. That's such a, oh, okay. Lawrence
we
Palmer.
love a swim off.
Do we have a swim off? It says qualification there, so yeah, maybe not. That was on the second page though, as it was running through. we'll clarify that for you a little later on, but certainly there was 8 on the first screen and then 8 after that, so maybe we have got a swim-off coming for that one. We'll wait and see. Obviously, they don't have to have a swim-off. Somebody might decide to pull out and automatically allow the other person to take the place. But
there's also transition finals
Yeah.
and the junior finals, so could be. But we do love a swim off,
We
and they
love a
always
swim.
end up swimming faster, as you said. Always.
except if you have a 1,500 meters freestyle swim-off.
I can't imagine you ever would. Has that ever happened?
Yes, I've seen it.
No.
I've seen it. Only once. Only once in 25 years of covering swimming have I seen it, but I have seen it.
I would.
once.
Surely you would just say use lane, one of the N2 lanes. Surely.
Nope, they didn't.
I would say it's
Go
yours.
through it again. Go through it all again.
No way.
Basically like doing open water, isn't it? Go and do it again. Right, 50 butterfly, going from the talking about the longest distance to the shortest distance again. This time butterfly, this time women. And we'll have 4 in the first of 7 heats. In fact, we'll have 5 in the first heat. From City of Sunderland, City of Oxford, Hatfield, Leamington, and Chelmsford. We're talking about the 15, 16, 17 age group here. And they're all pretty much in line. The only one who's slightly off the pace is Caitlin Cambrook, but everybody else right up there. And this is going to be quite a difficult one to call, to be honest. Molly Quelch, Jessica Woodward, Emily Ford, all pretty much in a line. Who's going to get there first? Actually, good finish here from Caitlin as well. She's coming through, but it will be lane 3. Emily Ford, who will get the touch in 28.24. And as we'd expect from the teenagers, they are making improvements in the heats, and she does that by about half a second. 28.24 with Molly Quelch in second and Jessica Woodward in third. Heat number 2. We'll have 8 going to start. And a good range of different clubs here. City of Milton Keynes, Darlington, Camden, Swiss, City of Leeds, City of Norwich, Mount Kelly, Lincoln, Vulcans, and the Ealing Club with Leah Whittaker in lane 8. Heat number 2. Again, times very similar for their entry times. 28.7, 28.8 is what we're looking at. It's about a tenth of a second actually separating all 8 on paper. So the winner could come from absolutely anywhere. It could even come from the outside lane where Leah Whittaker's had a brilliant start in the far side of the pool. Can she keep it going? Well, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the one who's actually breaking out of the pack is lane 1, Lottie Wynne-Jones. Lottie Wynne-Jones in lane 1's probably going to get there just, is she? She is. 28.30. Everybody else was pretty much in a line, and she just broke open that pack slightly. There's 2 down to 8, separated by less than a second.
Outside burner.
And half a second PB to add from her point of view as well. Come from City of Manchester Aquatics here. Newport, Aberdeen Performance, Heart of Midlothian, City of Leicester, Mid Sussex, and Isle of Man. Some great names in here too. Meadow Dronsfield is in lane 1. Meadow. Don't hear too many first names of Meadow, do you?
Very pretty.
Heat number 3 of the women's 50 meters butterfly. Looking for somebody maybe to get under that 28.3 we had in the previous one, 28.24 in the opening one. And who's making the move here? Well, it's Chiara Tomasello, 15-year-old from the City of Manchester Aquatics, who's taken the first 25 and is going to find some company from Isabel Goodwin coming through in lane number 4, but it might just be 2 who takes it, and 2 does take it with Chiara Tomasello in a 28.24. So again, heading in the right direction from her point of view, about a quarter of a second improvement. Second was Olivia Marshall of the Isle of Man, and third, Megan Allison of City of Newport. Where did Meadow finish? 7th.
We've got some good names this week.
We've got some great names this week.
Betsy Wizard is still my favourite.
Betsy Wizard is fantastic. We'll see more of her, I'm sure, this week. She's doing quite a few different events. Heat number 4. We've got a couple of Chiaras in this one. Schlossen and Morris in lanes 4 and 5. And again, we're getting down toward, well, somebody here will go sub 28, I think, because they're all on the cusp of 28 in their entry times. And most likely probably going to come from Kiara Slauson in lane number 4. So actually, first into a stroke off the start. So she might have lost a little bit there, but she'll probably pick it up when she's actually into a swimming. Lane 5, Kiara Morris of Cardiff. And here comes Slauson coming through. Wasn't the best of starts from her, but Yasmin Perry is maybe going to beat her to the wall from Aberdeen Performance. She will. It'll be the Aberdeen swimmer in lane 3 who gets there first.
Aberdeen?
Sorry.
Katie.
Sorry,
Katie
I jumped one. I jumped
You're
one.
on
Sorry.
the next tee.
I jumped one. Sorry about that. 27.57
Katie Robinson.
for Katie. Give her a proper mention this time. Yeah, 27.57.
Did go under that 28 mark,
She
though.
did.
You
In fact,
predict that?
three of them did. Three of them did there. Katie, Kiara, and Lucy all getting through there. Yes, I'm sorry. I did jump down one. I think I was so taken with the Kiaras, I was looking at the next one, which
I'd have
is.
said Sierra.
Eh?
I'd have said Sierra.
Would you?
Yeah.
You're thinking of cars now, aren't you? No product placement here, please. Thank you. Heat number 5. And Newcastle, Stockport Metro, Aberdeen Performance, Poole University of Stirling, Loughborough University, Ellesmere College, and Aberdeen Performance all have swimmers involved in this one. And all these swimmers have done 27 low or high. Fastest should be, if the entry time's ready to go by, Jasmine McRae of Poole. Oh, that's a fantastic start in lane number 6 from Charlotte Atkinson of Loughborough University. Look at her go in 6. I don't think anybody's going to catch her. If they do, it's going to be down below with Jane Brown, but I think it's going to be lane 6 who'll take it. And she does, 26.98. That was a terrific swim. And half a second taken off her personal best there as well. That was one of those that's, from a commentary point of view, fairly easy to call because she was dominating that race from 25 onwards.
Yeah, she has. She's been around for a couple of years now, Charlotte. She's got a really good 100 as well, so nice to see her in the mix. She's obviously on good form. I'm assuming she probably trains with Ian Hume, maybe, if it's Loughborough University.
Yeah, because they have so many, it's always difficult to differentiate between the different coaches there. And
there's Mel Marshall, there's Dave Hemmings, there's Ian Hume. They've got a great programme there in Loughborough, and it just must be amazing just to be around so many like-minded athletes, all inspiring one another every single day.
Another Loughborough swimmer coming up next in lane number 4. So working on that basis, we should see Emily Barkley as the fastest here, 22 years of age, with an entry time of 26.83. I'll say there's 2 Emilys in this one, Emily side by side, with Emily Horn of City of Glasgow in 3, Emily Barkley of Loughborough. The other clubs represented, City of Sheffield, Colchester, Plymouth Leander, Nofio Clwyd, Guildford City, and Plymouth Leander as well. And it is those centre lanes, but a very tight one it is between 3, 4 and 5. That is Emily Horn, Emily Barkley, and Laura Stevens. There's 4 of them joining. In fact, also watch out for the outside smoker in Kate Clifton as well. Kate Clifton's coming through strongly, but it's going to be 5. Laura Stevens gets there just ahead of the rest, and only just, though she does. 27.37 is for her, winning that race by 1/100th of a second in the end from Emily Horn of City of Glasgow and Emily Barkley in 3rd place.
I always expect to see Fran Halsall down for this one. I'm like,
Yeah,
where's
no.
Fran? I forget. She's retired.
Yeah, could you send some coffee around, please, Fran? We could do with it now. Her new business, which I think is going quite well, isn't it? On to the 7th of 7 in the 50 metres butterfly. And Emily Large, who was part of the Commonwealth Games team for England last year, is going in lane 2. Anna Hopkins, we know, another of the established Ealing swimmers, goes in 3. Harriet Jones of Cardiff, though, is the fastest on paper. Only sub 27 swimmer in this field, although I'd expect Emily Large, off the back of last year, to show us what she can do. Not happening at the moment for her in lane 2, but happening in the centre of the lane definitely is working for Harriet Jones and for Sophie Yendel on the other side of her, and for Anna Hopkin of Ealing. Anna Hopkin probably just with the advantage. Good late finish here from Jessica Calderbank of Oldham Aquatics, but it will be lane 3 that will get there first. It's Anna Hopkin in a 26.69. So it may well be the first time she's been sub 27. She's 23, so I'm not quite sure exactly what her PB is, but she's entered on a 27.22. 26.69 is where she finishes. And 1/10 of a second clear of Harriet Jones. Emily Large with a good finish with 27.15, which will be, for her, a new personal best.
I think women's butterfly is one of those that I'm quite excited about to see what the future holds. I mean, because in the past we've had Fran Halsall, Siobhan Marie O'Connor did 100 butterfly for a while, obviously with Ellen Gandy, then we had Gemma Lowe, and now it's kind of nice to know who the up-and-coming girls are. Obviously that was just the 50, but it'd be nice to kind of introduce ourselves, because I feel like it's kind of always been a solid event of ours, and now it's nice to get to know some of the junior guys coming through that will hopefully be making Tokyo next year.
Well, moving on to butterfly of a longer variety and the men's. 8 heats we will have of the 200 butterfly. So first chance for us to see James Guy in action. He'll be going in heat number 8. Duncan Scott and Jay Elliott, who was in the final of 400 free yesterday, will go in lane 5 of heat number 7. Jacob Peters, one of those who emerged last year, one of the new breed, the 19-year-old from Poole, who has stayed in Poole, I think. He hasn't actually moved to a major centre yet.
One that shocked me is Archie Goodburn. He's just been in the breaststroke. Not many athletes do breaststroke and butterfly.
Yeah, that's quite a rare combination, isn't it? And so you think, well, you should be an IM at it, shouldn't you, really, to do that?
Maybe he is.
Yeah, probably is. Probably it might be like Hannah Miley, just does everything, you know. Don't care what it is, don't care how long it is, don't care where it is, I'll do it.
Well, he probably does do IM if he's a good breaststroker, because as you say, Bob, you have
it's
to
the
have
most
a good
important
breaststroke.
stroke, yeah. Without a good breaststroke, you can't be an IMer. There's once upon a time you could be, and I'll cite James Hickman in that case, because James Hickman would always admit his breaststroke wasn't particularly good, but he always thought he kind of got away with it. But he was more of a short course swimmer, so a lot of it was about turns with him. But he would readily admit his breaststroke wasn't that good, and he kind of got away with it for a few years. But you can't these days. So I think people's breaststroke, I think people have identified that, haven't they, the last 10 years maybe, saying, right, you know, you've got to work on that. That's a one stroke you've got to work on. Because in terms, it's almost like worth double, if you like. When you think, yeah, your butterfly can be solid, your backstroke can be solid, but if your breaststroke's terrible, you're going to see people whizzing past you all the time.
Yeah, you've got to have at least a half-decent breaststroke, haven't you? Having said that, Liam Tancock and James Goddard both did 200 IM. Their breaststrokes aren't the strongest.
But 200, I suppose you can get away with it a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, you could never do...
Yeah,
can't
400.
Can't hide in a 400 medley, can you?
You know, that 100 soon takes its toll, doesn't it? Right, the 200 butterfly heat number 1 up next with the orange cap of York City closest to us, and Jason Robson, Nathan Woodrow of City of Norwich, and Jackson O'Rourke of Northampton. The Northampton team, those who are not here, are watching in. So good morning to you in Northampton. Thank you for the messages yesterday. And let's see how your 17-year-old Jackson O'Rourke can do. All of them entered in a very similar entry time, 2:10.64 for Nathan Woodrow, 2:10.69 for Jackson O'Rourke, and 2:10.77 for Jason Robson. I'll make a little prediction here that all three of them will go under their times this morning. I don't know why I feel that, but just from the first 50, it's looking quite promising.
It is, and we've seen that yesterday, so many personal bests. I think this is a fast pool. We talk about fast and slow pools, but I think this Glasgow one is a fast pool. I love this pool.
It's all about, people also talk about depth. That's why Ponds Forge was always considered probably the fastest pool in Europe, because it was a 3-metre deep pool. I think this is only 2.5.
Close enough, though, isn't it?
but it's how everything goes down to the bottom, how long it takes to come back off the bottom of the pool, isn't it? People also said Ponds Forge was the fastest pool in Europe, people were saying, because of the depth of it. Because a lot of world records were broken there at one point, and a lot of European records were broken there. And people say it's a pool they went to that always got results. But I say Glasgow last year we had the world record from Adam Peaty, and we've had other really fast times as well. Jason Robson is leading the way for York City in this first heat of the 200 butterfly. The other two having their own race behind. That's Nathan Woodrow and Jackson O'Rourke. Remember, 2:10 mid is where they were in terms of their entry times. I think we can safely say, the way things are looking, that Jason Robson's going to get there. The other two are trying to come back and actually having their own race behind, which is good. Now, hopefully, I'm not going to be hoisted by my own petard here by them going 2:12, but I think we're on course for all to go under 2:10 potentially here. Certainly, Jason Robson is winning this by a fair margin and is coming to the conclusion of his 200 butterfly for York City. Come on, all go under 2:10, please. Nearly. Have they all done personal bests? One hasn't. Oh, Nathan Woodrow slightly let me down there with a 2:10.81 compared to a 2:10.64. Two of them do. Jason Robson, 2:09.30, so under 2:10 for the first time for the York City swimmer. And the 2:10.81 for Nathan Woodrow in third place. 2:10.19 for Jason O'Rourke.
It's one of those that 200 butterfly just hurts. That last 50 metres especially, I mean, it's just a slog, isn't it, that last 50 metres?
Well, I'll take your word for it.
Have you never done one, Bob?
Not me.
We'll get you doing one this week.
No, you won't. Heat number 2, it's Fraser Wilson of Warrender, Lewis Binning of Basildon, Guildford's Ben Rowett, William Ellington of Millfield, and then Wickham District's Thomas Sansom, James Goodwin, not Goddard, from City of Birmingham, Akal Rahal from City of Leeds, and Cole Hewitt of City of Sheffield. That's your lineup. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have been 2:09. The rest are 2:10. So again, should be a very tight race between these 16, 17 and 18-year-olds. And the first 50 is kind of proving that. Of course, the race won't develop for a while yet, but everybody's looking about the same kind of pace over the first 50. And the far side of the pause where we're looking, James Goodwin, Akal Rahal had good starts. And it is James Goodwin who leads from Cole Hewitt with Akal Rahal in third place and Sampson in fourth. Outside lane's going very well. That's Cole Hewitt of City of Sheffield. Of course, he trains at the aforementioned Ponds Forge. He's looking very good with obviously another 100 to go yet. It's a bit of an echelon at the moment. 8.765 for it right across. Bit of an arrow formation at the moment, but it is Cole Hewitt who is leading with 60.21. Second, James Goodwin and Thomas Sansom in third. But look, nothing to choose between 2, 3, 4 and 5. Our leader, though, if he keeps this going, is going to set himself quite a big personal best.
He looks really strong at the minute. I mean, it's so difficult whether you go out too fast and people, you tend to say that an elephant hits them on the back sometimes on the butterfly.
Is that elephant or a piano? One of the
either
two,
one of them two, isn't it, down the last 50 metres. But he's looking really strong here. Just kind of in a bit of a race of its own at the minute. Obviously, kind of over a second ahead of the rest of the field. Just hope he can keep it going this last 50 metres.
Well, he looks strong, and that's the reason he looks strong is he's coming out of the water quite high at the moment. He's not kind of gliding along it, and if anything, he's opening up a bigger advantage here. The gap's getting bigger between him and the rest, so this is great endurance by Cole Hewitt, a very impressive performance. So remember, his entry time is 2:10.63. He's going to win this by 2 to 3 body lengths, so it's going to be a good time, better than he's ever been before by some way. 2:06.87 for our winner. That is a huge leap down in times. Thomas Sansom in second place from Wicked District, and third, City of Birmingham's James Goodwin. But that is a mightily impressive performance by Cole Hewitt. 2:06 high compared to a 2:10 high.
He looks really happy there. He doesn't look too out of breath either.
Maybe we could introduce the 400 metres butterfly then, shall we?
Gosh, what a race that would be. Oh,
To see people dying all over the
it just gave me shivers even thinking about doing 400
people
butterfly.
being scooped out of the pool. Yeah.
Oh.
Talk about lactate. Imagine how much lactate that would bring. 400 butterfly.
Oh, it's horrendous, Bob.
Goodness
Let's not
me.
suggest
Horrible
that one.
thought. Yeah. No, we like the 4x100 breaststroke. I think that could work, but
Only because we're good at it.
yeah, that's right. So on to heat number 3. Ross Philp of Staines, Liam Birrell of Leeds, Simon Clement of Sheffield, Herbie Kinder. Let's see if he can give us a surprise in lane 4.
Oh, I only just got that. You looked at me to laugh and I went, you up at Kinder Egg. I get you, Bob.
Isaac von Fintel of City of Derby, Harrison Brown, Stockport Metro. You really were were quite slow then, weren't you? Looking around thinking, are we on a delay?
That's only because I was thinking to myself, Herbie Kinder, what a lovely name. I really like that name. It's like a Betsy Wizard for me. I really like it. And then you were making a joke. Your dad jokes, Bob.
My dad jokes, yeah, my granddad jokes in my case. Michael Klementsevsky of Hatfield and Sam Osborne of City of Birmingham. So while we were having a bit of a josh there, they've already completed 50 and are back on their way 75. And again, it's the outside lane. Look at lane 8 again. Sam Osborne of City of Birmingham, something in that lane this morning. It's making them go pretty quick.
Lucky lane.
It's certainly a very effective lane anyway for the butterfly swimmers. Maybe James Guy needs to get out there for later on, but 100 completed, and it is Sam Osborne, not with quite as big a lead as Cole Hewitt had in the previous one, but still going very well. Second place is Isaac von Fintel of Derby, and third is Ross Philp of Staines. And they'll have quite a small program, I imagine, so he's actually having a really good second 100 here, coming right back into the mix.
It's hard on butterfly because a lot of people obviously traditionally breathe to the front, but if you can breathe to the side to see your competitors, so they'll all try and have like a sneaky look at the turn now and on the underwater to see where the rest of the field are.
Nothing to choose between the top three, as you can see, less than a second between 1, 2 and 3, and just about a second between 1, 2, 3 and 4, so this race is far from done yet, and this is where it will really hurt, as Becky's been saying, that last 50 of the 200 butterfly, when all your body wants to do is stop, and you got to try and keep going. And the leader could come, and the winner eventually could come from 3 swimmers at the front here, because it's very, very tight. And as you can see, falling away now is Sam Osborne, but our winner will be Isaac von Fintel. It sounds like it could be a baddie in a James Bond film, but 2:06.09.
Yeah, Sam just couldn't keep with the pace there. That last 50 metres, that elephant or piano must have hit him.
Yeah.
But he'd still be happy with that. I mean, it's still 2:08. It's a solid time.
Yeah, it's fastest he's ever been before as well. 2:09.07 is what I've got down as his entry time. So, yeah, he may be hurty at the end, but he got there eventually. But was the leader for pretty much the first 150. But Isaac von Fintel with a 2:06.09. That's a couple of seconds better than his entry time. On to heat number 4. And we're halfway through. We'll be after this. The 200 butterfly for men. Mark Ford of City of Glasgow in 1. James McDonald of Warrender in 2. Hector Pardo of Ellesmere College in 3. Harry Whiteman, City of Peterborough, 4. Owen Richards of Torfaen in 5. George Barber, Royal Wolverhampton in 6. Craig Greenock, City of Glasgow, and Plymouth Leander have James Hart in lane number 8. He's the youngest of all the swimmers in here, 15 years of age on the far side of the pool, and so the main swimmers in the centre lanes will have 2:06 high as their entry time, but looking strong early stages. Is lane number 7. Sorry, lane number 6. That's George Barber. We don't have a lane number 8, actually. That's what confused me there. It's George Barber with a 27.18. Hector Pardo in second place, and third at the first turn is Owen Richards of Torfaen.
Well, we saw Hector yesterday in the 400 metre freestyle, I think it was. So we know he's got a bit of endurance. Quite a lot of athletes kind of replicate the kind of 400 free, the 200 frees with doing now the butterfly, which is really nice to see because it just takes the pressure off. It's always nice doing 2 strokes, and then you can mix it up a bit. I always hated the fact that I then just went into front crawl all the time because the pressure was on every single race. It's nice to have a race where you can just relax. It's not as intense, it's not as pressured, and you just get to enjoy it.
Well out in front now, as he was at the 50, was at 100 as well, is George Barber of Royal Wolverhampton, but coming to get a little bit closer to him at the 150 stage. Here's a swimmer in lane number 3, Hector Pardo of Ellesmere College. At the moment, there's about 3/4 of a second between our leader and second place. Third is Owen Richards of Torfaen, and 4th, James McDonald at the final turn. But I think probably just about going to hang on here with a little bit to spare is George Barber of Royal Wolverhampton, the 18-year-old in lane 6. Yep, he's, if anything, pulling away from the rest of the field. don't think Hector Pardo is going to catch him at this stage. Our winner, I think we can declare as he comes into the wall with a time of 2:04.78 is George Barber. And again, that's a significant turn in the right direction from his point of view. 2:04.7 compared to a 2:07.03 is what he was entered in on. So that is definitely a big improvement, doing it on the big stage as well.
Very good. I used to get £1 every time I did a personal best or a chocolate bar or something from my mum and dad.
So you did it incrementally, didn't you? You did. I'll do a 10th today, 10th tomorrow.
I reckon most parents give their kids a little bit of something for a PB. Sure they do.
Did you not have kind of, this is what I would like, Mum and Dad, if I do this, rather than just give me money for sweets? Do you not have a kind of...
Well, no, because I didn't always spend the £1 on sweets. It was just very often back in my day, 20 years ago, they used to have a little tuck shop thing at the front. That's how old.
The crisps.
It was. You used to have a pick and mix lady at the front of the baths that I used to go
Someone
to.
could make a killing at swimming, couldn't they? Just a pick and mix counter at the front. Yeah, I think we've hit on an idea here. Hey, I tell you what, Dragon's Den, you and me. 50%.
It's all about healthy eating now.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
Like
swimmers don't eat sweets.
Oh no, of course, yeah. So I'm sure parents buy them a chocolate bar or something. I'm sure they do.
Anyway, we digress. Heat number 5 of the 200 butterfly for men, and this one's got Adam Brown of Loughborough, Alex Watkinson of Warrender, Rhys Edwards of Swansea, Kane Murcutt of Royal Wolverhampton, Robbie Jones of Mount Kelly, Jonah Walsh of Edinburgh, Jack Toe of City of Sheffield, and Adam Wilson of Newcastle. They've completed that first 50, going back to complete halfway, and outside lane again is showing prominently. Adam Wilson this time from the City of Newcastle. He's going to be second coming into the wall, I think. Yes, he is. Third lane is where the action is at the moment. And that's Rhys Edwards of Swansea. Adam Wilson second. Adam Brown. No, not that Adam Brown. Of course, is long since retired and in America now.
He is.
Our former freestyle champion over 50 and 100. Rhys Edwards, though, is leading the way in this one. He's got an entry time of 2:05.22. And looking like he may well get well inside that if he keeps it going at the pace he is. Alex Watkinson in second place, Kane Murcutt in third, and then Adam Wilson, Adam Brown dropping back down to 5th place as the race just unwinds still further. But this is a strong swim, and leading from the front's never easy in butterfly. But Rhys Edwards is doing just that for Swansea Aquatics. He'll be hoping to get maybe down to 2:03, possibly 2:02 here, but he's got some company now from Alex Watkinson of Warrington right alongside him. It's going to be tight on the touch. He gets there first, though. 2:05.14 for our winner.
With a glide into the wall, too.
Yeah.
He was just like, where's the wall?
It's coming. Where are you? It's still just about a personal best, only marginally, but it's, again, ooh, that hurt, didn't it? Look at the expressions at the end of the 200 butterfly. Unlike any other race, isn't it? Or maybe the 400 IM, but you just kind of you get a close-up at the end of the 200 butterfly, and every sinew seems to be hurting.
Yeah, it's brutal. That's why I was always shocked by like Michael Phelps's like kind of roar and his celebration after the race, because I was like, after I did a 200 fly, I couldn't even lift my arms. I was like, how are you celebrating like that?
He was there at the Masters at the weekend, cheering on Tiger Woods. You see that?
I thought you meant a Masters swimming competition. I was like, Michael Phelps?
Yeah, he was there at the back of the, I think it was 16th at Augusta the other day.
He is into his golf.
Cheering on Tiger Woods. 3 more heats, so it's time for me to say again, the cyclically seeded heats now, as we get on to heat number 6. And this will contain, and does contain, Jacob Peters of Poole. Great breakout year for him last year. James Woodward of Hatfields in 1, Freddie Clampett of Plymouth in 2, Ben Hooper, Hillingdon 3, 5, Archie Goodburn of Warrender, back after a swim not so long ago. He's back in there after the sprint. He's in for the 200 butterfly. Sam Daly of Mount Kelly, Felix Gifford of University of Stirling, and Mark Elric of City of Glasgow. And we should be keeping our eyes on Well, certainly I think one of the future prospects for butterfly swimming, and look at Jacob Peters. He ain't holding back this morning.
He's certainly not. I mean, he's a full body length of the rest of the field, and we're not even at 100 metres yet. He's not holding back. And I really like that. I like the fact that some of these guys are kind of learning from your Adam Peaty, who's constantly kind of gone for it in heats, wants to move through the rounds. Because if Jacob wants to make that Worlds team and is at Worlds this summer, he's going to have to swim fast in that morning heat.
Now, I don't want to put the mouth on this guy, because that finish coming to the 100 was absolutely spot on. He got his turn absolutely right. Measuring it on butterfly sometimes can be a bit of a hit and miss thing, can't it? We saw the glide earlier on, but he got that 100 turn absolutely spot on. Let's see whether he can do it at 150. No glide into the wall last time. Little bit of one there, only slight one though, from Jacob Peters, who is just winning this by a streak. Look at that. Look at the distance in terms of time and what you can see with your eyes. 3-second differential. Jacob Peters entered on 157. We're going to see our first sub-2 of the morning. I think we potentially are here from Jacob Peters. Yeah, he's got plenty of time to spare. As the well, he'll be around about the 2 minutes anyway when he finishes. In fact, he'll be well inside here, won't he? He's got to be. Yes, 158.88. That is phenomenal for a heat swim. Ooh, James Guy will be taking notice of that.
He will. It's a very quick time for the World's qualification, this. I mean, tonight in the finals, they've got to go 1:54.6. That's extremely quick. There is a consideration time of 1:55.4, which 3 seconds, is it in reach?
Well, so he's done 1:57. You know, he looks pretty comfortable. You know, the gap there, you see nobody else getting sub 2 minutes. James Woodward in second, Archie Goodburn with the second swim of the day in third place. But that was, you know,
fantastic heat.
He may not be able to swim it quite the same way tonight, because James Guy is probably going to be leading that one. So he might have to just take his lead from what James Guy does.
Yeah, but he's got to have so much confidence after that. It's really nice when it's your first swim of the meet, knowing that you're swimming well, just gaining in confidence and use that adrenaline and then that nervous energy for the final tonight.
Right, so big names in this one. Duncan Scott, of course, our European champion from 100 freestyle last year, goes in 4 for University of Stirling. Jay Elliott will be in 5. Michael Gunning of Stockport Metro. There might be a bit of interest around the commentary area about him. In 6 is Edward Mildred, not Georgia Mildred from Northampton. 7 is Joseph Porter of Stockport Metro, and 8, Ruben Vista of City of Sheffield, the 16-year-old. And there are 2 of those in the field. Right, how's the first 50 looking here? I expect Duncan Scott to be right up there prominent, and indeed he is. Edward Mildred in second place. Jane Elliott, who we more associate with freestyle, 4, 8 and 15, is actually having a crack at the 200 butterfly here.
He's had a tough 2 days, hasn't he? 2 400 free yesterday, now a 200 butterfly. He's not chosen the easy events, has he?
He's got 200 back as well, I think, to come. So he's mixing his program up.
Duncan's got such a nice butterfly, hasn't he? It's really like low to the water. It's really smooth. It kind of looks effortless.
Everything he does is right on point.
It is, isn't it? Damn you for being so good.
So we're talking about his front crawl, or talking about his butterfly. He's done a bit of IM in his time as well. You know, it's everything he turns to, he seems to do very well. Now, 3 of them pretty much in a line here, interestingly. And
come on, Michael.
Michael is coming through in lane number 3, and right alongside Duncan Scott. In fact, he's taken over the lead with 50 to go. Michael Gunning from Duncan Scott. Then it's Edward Mildred and Jay Elliott in 4th place. Wow. Duncan Scott just woken up there, looked across, goes, okay, I need to maybe up my game a little bit here. Jay Elliott's coming back quite strongly at the back end of his butterfly into the mix. But it's Michael Gunning and Duncan Scott, stroke for stroke. Now, who's going to get there first? Duncan Scott wants it. Michael wants it. Michael might get it too. He doesn't quite. Look at that. 3 100ths between them. 1:59.57 takes it for Duncan Scott. And 1:59.60 for Michael Gunning. 3rd place goes to Jay Elliott with a 2:01.05. And 4th place to Edward Mildred.
I'm very, very happy for Michael Gunning, one of my best friends. He was really, really hoping for that time. He swims for Jamaica. That's one of his qualification times to make the World Championships this summer. So he'll be very, very pleased with that.
Yeah, Michael funking for Jamaica there.
Funking?
Funking. Never heard of Funking for Jamaica. That's a good song.
Oh.
Good song. He probably knows it. Number 8. And here's your boy, James Guy, with Bath these days, still with the same coach, Joel Fink. And the rest of the lineup is as follows. James Wilkes of Loughborough in 1. 2 is Jacob Goodman, Millfield. Thomas Payne of City of Manchester Aquatics. Thomas Beasley of Plymouth. Matthew Donville of Warrington. James Baxter of Wickham. And Ewan Wilson of City of Salford. Now, remember, 1:58.88 was the time for Jacob Peters. What do you think? Because James Guy will know about that. He'll have seen the time. Is he going to try and beat it, or does he not care?
I think for James, it's about getting in the water, having a smooth race, kind of, especially on butterfly, because it's all about kind of your timing, your rhythm. You just want to get the flow. This is his first, well, it's the first time we've seen him this week. I'm pretty sure he'll have a busy program with obviously the 200 meters freestyle, the 100 butterfly as well. So he'll just be wanting a really, really smooth race this morning, blow the cobwebs away. His butterfly, I think, is really effortless, James. It's really nice to watch. He breathes every stroke. Some athletes kind of have a different rhythm, don't they? Some breathe every 2, whereas James, I just think it works for him, and he's got really good underwater phase as well. He's obviously works a lot on kind of the small little 1% things now, like you were saying earlier with Jacob, how he timed that turn. That's what these top athletes are doing now, is just making sure that every little thing is just going to work into place, and then he'll just flow through the rounds and hopefully tonight put in a good fight against Jacob.
Big news from the South African trials is that Chad Leclos didn't make the time, I think. It's either the 200 free or the 200 fly he didn't make the time, but one of his main events he didn't make the time in the South African trials, so that's quite a big surprise. James Guy, though, no problems for him this morning. 2 seconds clear of Thomas Bealey, and then just a little bit further back is Matthew Donville of Warrington. So remember, 1:58.88 was the time for Jacob Peters, and it's going to be there or thereabouts from James Guy. Won't be a lot between them. In fact, if anything, possibly Jacob Peters might be quicker. He is going to be quicker.
Oh, James eased off there,
Yeah,
though. He definitely eased off.
I've seen him do that before. Going, well, I don't, okay, that's enough. I can turn the motors off now.
Yeah, he looks super relaxed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He definitely eased off that last
Job
10
done.
metres.
Job done. No worries about that. So there are 2 who have gone. Well, 3 have gone quicker than him. So he's going to be in a strange lane for him. It's going to probably be. I'm trying to work it out. It's going to be about 9.6 maybe tonight.
Yeah, for these guys trying to make that world's qualification as well, they've got a lot to drop. It's a really, really tough time. So tonight it'll be getting in, using each other, pushing each other on, and hopefully we'll see some much faster swims.
So 3 under 2 minutes. James Guy just easing up at the end. Jay Elliott makes the final. Ed Mildred, Thomas Bealey, and James Woodward will be the 8 that will go through. Just missing out Matthew Donville and Archie Goodman will probably be thinking, I shouldn't have done that 50 earlier.
Yeah, but they'll be in the transition final, so they still get a second swim tonight. So for them, with having that junior final, the transition and the open final, it gives these juniors the experience that they need to have that evening, to have that kind of second swim, that pressured moving forward. Obviously, because there's so many competitions this year, it's a bit incredible when you look at how many selection policies there is this week. I think there's 5. It's insane because you've got World Unis on top of that. You've got European Youth Olympics, World Juniors, European Juniors, World Seniors. There's abundance of competitions.
Which is good for the swimmers, gives them a chance maybe to swim internationally during the course of the summer. Well, that will be determined during the course of this week, though there are wild cards to be handed out if the full allocation is not met, and probably with the target times here, if we get double figures for that, it'll probably be a revelation. That's what we shall have to see. 100 backstroke now. Yeah, exactly. We're talking again about a British record here. You're just pointing out on the screen there. British record from Joa Spofford set in Rome in 2009. It's still in the books.
And it wasn't a super shiny suit world record either.
Beautifully said that. That's quite a difficult phrase to say.
I know.
Super shiny shoot. Super shiny shoot. It was an incredible swim, and in fact, she held the world record for a long time. It's only just been broken. It was only broken last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Amazing for Gemma. What a backstroker.
But she now, of course, in America, has been there for quite some time. And whether she even keeps across what's happening in British swimming these days.
She probably does. I think when you've been in the sport for so long that you kind of want to keep in touch a little bit, kind of knowing who's on the team. It's kind of hard to obviously know everyone, but at the same time, you're a swimming fan. I think once you get into swimming, you never leave. We don't let anyone go.
That's very true. You're there for life.
You are.
You are marked and stamped for life. Swimming is your life.
It is.
There's no way out of it. First of 9 heats of the 100 backstroke for women. Heather Whitcomb of Soundwell. I don't know where that is. Olivia Burrow of Exeter City. Rowan Saunders, Heart of Midlothian, and Havant and Waterlooville's Gemma Elliott. So I'm going to have to find out what Soundwell is, because I don't know. Really don't. I'm always happy to plead my ignorance if I don't know something and not guess, but that's the lineup for this one. And I'll be coming back for a finish, so I won't have long to find out. But I will, in due course. Let's see.
Well, Olivia is definitely taking this one. She's had a great swim this morning. She had a personal best of, well, her entry time is a 105.7, and she's managed to go a 105.2.
Very
So
good.
we're assuming that these are all their personal best times.
Yeah.
And if so, then
If they're young, generally they are.
yeah. 0.5 PB.
That's good. Soundwell is a suburb of Bristol, situated between Kingswood and Staple Hill. So now we know. I like to put clubs on the map, and if I don't know, I will say so, and we'll try and find out, because there are some clubs who only have 1 or 2 swimmers here. We barely mention them.
There must be thousands of swimming clubs up and down the country, isn't it?
Which is a great thing, but you know, obviously we talk about Loughborough a lot, talk about Bath a lot, talk about Sheffield and Leeds and things like that, but there's a lot of small clubs who've got maybe 1 or 2 swimmers here who barely get a mention, so it's quite good to give them a mention, isn't it?
Definitely.
On to heat number 2 of the women's 100 backstroke. Eve Wright of City of Peterborough, Kate Butler of Stockport Metro, Carnegie's Morven Lister, and then Mimi Morley Izzat of City of Oxford, Tamrin Van Selm of Bromley. Tamrin's back again. Remember Tamrin from yesterday?
Our 15-year-old.
From
She absolutely
Bromley.
stormed yesterday.
She did. Molly Garrett with a great swimming pedigree there as well in lane 6 for York City. 7 is Polly Painter of Millfield, and 8 is Laura Richmond of Wickham District.
Why were you laughing at that?
I was looking at the reaction of our head honcho down the bottom of the table who just repeated what I said and went, Polly Painter. So, yeah, it's a lovely name. Very alliterative, don't you think? First 50 just about to be completed in the 100 backstroke for women. Heat 2 of 9. Far side of the pool is where I'm looking, and that's exactly what the clock indicates, that Molly Garrett is leading at 50. 31.02, sure Mum's here. 31.32 for Polly Painter, and Tamrin Van Selm of Bromley in 3rd place. And 7, Polly Painter is coming through very strongly at the back end of this race. She and Tamrin Van Selm might be battling this one out for the finish. Tamrin Van Selm might just take this in the red costume. She will take it in a 1:04.59, and again, I'm sure her entry time is her personal best, 1:05.45. She is just taken about, well, nearly a second off her personal best there.
Do you not always, when you watch backstroke, want to shout, get off that lane rope?
Yeah, oh, it happens all the time. So we were talking about Lizzie yesterday. Outdoors, she was a nightmare for that.
Outdoor is very difficult, though. It was a nightmare.
I mean, sometimes you see her actually almost pulling on the lane rope.
To be fair, because I swam
In training, you do it. The problem is
You do-
people do
that's-
that in training,
Yeah.
and then they forget they're not in training when they're racing.
But I did it in front crawl because you're so used to swimming in a club where in your lane there's so many athletes and you just kind of always swim round the lane. And I did it when I raced. I just swam round the lane because that's what you get used to. That's what you do in warm-up. That's what you do every single day. And it becomes second nature.
Heat number 3, Izzy May Reeves of City of Sheffield. There's 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds in this one. Bella Hodges of Mount Kelly. Ava Simpson of Dumfries, which is not a million miles away from here. Serena Iagawaram of City of Glasgow. Lauren Bradley Holt of City of Salford. Katie Henderson of Guildford. Megan Pye of City of Norwich. And Francesca Whiting of Monson. That's your 8 for heats number 3. And a very quick start again by the far. It's almost like we're on a tilt today. Everything seems to be happening on the far side in the lane 6 to 8. And brilliant start from Katie Henderson in 6 and Megan Pye. And also not a bad one from the yellow cap of Lauren Bradley Holt. And it will be Katie Henderson of Guildford who leads at the 50 split. Megan Pye in 2nd and Lauren Bradley Holt in 3rd place. We're looking at all the swimmers in this heat with times of 105 low or 105 mid. So all looking to see if they can get below 65 seconds if possible. And again, apart from the action in lane 1, all happening on the far side. So who's lane 1? That's Izzy May Reeves of City of Sheffield, who might sneak through to win this. So very tight. I think she's just going to get there first. Izzy May Reeves does get there in a 65 dead. So the time before today was 65.36. The time today is 65. So again, an improvement and a move in the right direction for Izzy May Reeves, with 2nd place going to Lauren Bradley Holt and 3rd to Megan Pye of City of Norwich. 3 under the 66 there. On to...
You're having issues with that straw, aren't you?
Yeah, it's now disappeared inside my drink. Oh.
I should explain, Bob is drinking from a carton like a child.
I am a child. I'm grown up.
And he's put the straw in the wrong way round.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a right way round. I thought it was a straw.
You put the long back.
Anyway, it's just about poking out the top now, so I should be okay. I'll survive. Heat number 4 of the 100 backstroke for women. Sophie Freeman, Plymouth Leander. Ella Shields of Milngay and Bearsden in 2. Kenan Ebbage. Got a problem? Yeah, there's a little halt in the start, which is awkward for the backstroke. Oh, we've got a problem. Oh, shouting, and now they can reconvene on heat number 4. So I'll give you that lineup again properly. Not quite sure what the issue was there, but we're underway. Sophie Freeman of Plymouth Leander, Ella Shields of Milngay and Bearsden in 2. Caitlin Ebbage of Tunbridge, 14 years of age, one of the youngest swimmers we've had this week, if not the youngest. Jessica McDonough of Stockport Metro, Iona McLeod of Dundee City, Sophia Wilson of Millfield, Charlie Jones of Royal Wolverhampton, and Carnbria, represented by Turia Evans. So first 50 completed, and again, looking to the far side of the pool, it's happening in every race right now. It's Charlie Jones of Royal Wolverhampton leading the 30.73 split. Again, can she bring it back? Well, at the moment she is bringing it back very well. She's still got about body length over 4 swimmers who are all in a line. 8, 6, 5, 4 and 3 all together. But just with her head clear of everybody else is Charlie Jones of Royal Wolverhampton. And I think she's going to hold on here. If anything, extend that lead over the rest of the field. And she has done just that with a 103.70. So almost a full second personal best for the 17-year-old from Wolverhampton. Second place to Tura Evans of Cumbria, and third is Sophia Wilson of Millfield.
I always like watching the backstroke. Everyone always has kind of lovely techniques. I think when you watch some of the other strokes, everyone has kind of different ways that they swim it, whereas on the backstroke, it always just looks so smooth, so elegant. It's almost like just so, I'm just going for a gentle swim, even though it's not, and it's very, very powerful, and everything obviously that's going on under the water, excelling them forwards, but it's always a nice one, and I think it's a pretty one to watch.
I'm about to say you can't go wrong with the backstroke. Obviously, that things can go wrong, but everybody's technique on backstroke is pretty much the same, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think it's kind of one of those that's just universal. I think especially now the starts, I always used to think the starts is where people kind of messed up a little bit if your foot slipped or anything like that, whereas now with this new ledge block that they have that they put into the water, I think, again, it's just kind of streamlined everything out.
On to heat number 5, and we'll be into the cyclically seeded ones very shortly. The likes of Kathleen Dawson, Jessica Fuller-Love, and Georgia Davis. This one has Orianda Malden of City of Bristol, Hannah Slater, Newcastle, Tatiana Tostevin of Millfield, Sophie Shaw, Mid-Sussex, Stockport Metro's Emma Rosen, Daisy Anderson of Thanet Swim is in 6, more into the Thanet crew, Ellie Turner of Carnegie in 7, and Athena Clayson of Mount Kelly is in lane number 8. Again, oh, actually, we're outside lanes this time. We're looking at 1, 2, and 8, leading the way early stages of this 100 backstroke.
There's no lane 1, it's number 2.
Oh, it is
It's
2.
throwing you again.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, we have a withdrawal, which, because we're on pool deck, is not easy to spot straight off, but now we can. And Athena Clayson is leading the way from Ellie Turner, from Daisy Anson. That's the 1, 2, 3. But looking at the top of your picture, very much towards Athena Clayson of Mount Kelly, with an entry time of 1:04:30. It's between her, it would seem, and Hannah Slater at this stage. She's finishing quickly in lane number 3, and it's going to be Tatiana Tostevin of Millfield with a 63.45. And again, that's a good, sizable chunk out of her previous personal best. 1:04:17 it was, 1:03:45 now. And second place to Ellie Turner, third to Athena Clayson. So that is quickest time of the morning so far, 1:03:45. Heat number 6 of the 100 backstroke. So we're nearly at the stage of the big international names, but we're going to look through some more juniors here. 15 years of age is Katie Shanahan, obviously Glasgow. I believe, yes, he set a Scottish junior record, if memory serves.
Oh.
Caroline Lewitt of Natari, West London. Caitlin Bergen of Mount Kelly in 2. Yes, Levin of Davencio. City of Leeds, Sophie Hobber. Brody Judge of Wickham District. We've got all our lanes today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No, lane 1
missing
again.
it. We're missing again, aren't we?
Lane 1.
Yeah. So everybody else in place. Caitlin Bergen, Mia Slevin, Sophie Hobber, Brody Judge, Katie Shanahan I mentioned from City of Glasgow, Isabel Jones of University of Stirling, and Imogen Mears, another of the Bromley swimmers, is in lane number 8. So there's the time. Again, they're all very similar. All in the 1:03 mid-range, 1:03:48 fastest in terms of entry time is Sophie Hobber. But up there in lane number 7, it is Isabel Jones of University of Stirling going well. In fact, if you look at it, all 7 as it is in this race going well, including our swimmer in lane number 2, who might well be leading at the first and only touch in terms of turn. It's Isabel Jones, 30.96, and Imogen Mears in second place, Brody Judge in third.
Lane 2 had a fantastic turn just at the bottom of your page there. She just absolutely storms that 15 metres off that turn.
Lane 7, though, it looks like being Isabel Jones, University of Stirling, is going to take this one. Her entry time is 1:03:93, and she's got quite a little bit of a distance over the others. It will be Isabel Jones who gets there first, and just slightly outside her best with a 1:04:17. So not quite as quick as the previous 2 heats. Second place to Imogen Mears of Bromley, who is around the 104s again. And third place to Katie Shanahan of City of Glasgow. Kathleen Dawson of University of Stirling coming up next, one of the swimmers in heat number 8. But before we get to that, we'll go to heat number 7. Jessica Fullerlove of Bath. Oh, we're waiting for confirmation, by the way, on heat number 6. Not confirmed yet. DQ for Caitlin Bergin on Mount Kelly.
Maybe it was that turn. Maybe she went over 15 metres.
Yeah, it could well be that, because you did pay attention to that, and you did mention it, but yeah. But we had DQ in the 50 yesterday, didn't we, for men? That's the confirmed result then for heat 6 on to 7. And Pia Murray of Ellesmere College in 1. Jessica Shaw, Birmingham University. Lucy Hope of Edinburgh University. Then Jessica Fullerlove of Bath. Chloe Golding of City of Manchester Aquatics. Plymouth Leanders, Laura Stevens. Kiara Barber of Wickham District. And Honey Osrin of Plymouth Leander is our 8. Provided we do have 8 this time, which I think we do. Just counting 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everybody in place. No absentees. Oh, Jessica Fullerlove is the swim we'll be focusing in on, I think, mainly in lane 4. Unless somebody else can surprise us, because she has got the fastest time in this field by a little way. Chloe Golding of City of Manchester Aquatics might have something to say about that, and Lucy Hope as well from Edinburgh. And yeah, already looking smooth in her stroke in lane 4 is Jessica Fullerlove.
Jess has always been one of those strong swimmers over the 100 and the 200 metres. She does swim a good 200 as well, so you expect to see her kind of come through, especially on the second 50 metres.
29.38, first sub 30 of the morning. Jessica Shaw also at 29.99. But this is where class starts to tell, and it's certainly telling with Jessica Fullerlove now down with Bath, 23 years of age, and certainly another potential Olympics in her sights for next year. And she's pulling away from the rest of the field. Now, can she get inside the magic minute? It's going to be pretty tight, just outside it, I think. Yeah, just by 0.48 of a second, 1:00.48. That's good and very comprehensive this morning. Chloe Golding in second place, Lucy Hope in third, and well,
that's a very solid heat swim.
Isn't it solid? And looks like untroubled as well. Looks like no concern.
She looks really smooth, yeah, really in control. She had a great turn as well. Really nice skills. Obviously, Bath, I always think the Bath swimmers have excellent skills. It's something Dave McNulty, I think, really works on. For me, Siobhan Marie O'Connor has got some of the best skills across women's sports. Her underwater phase is just brilliant. So obviously something that Jess works on heavily as well with that underwater.
So he looks like it, and certainly seems to be paying off and paying dividends for the Bath contingent who are here. No Bath swimmer in this heat. There's a Loughborough swimmer, City of Sheffield as well. Plymouth Leander represented, and that's your lineup for heat number 8. Kathleen Dawson will be getting the local support from the University of Stirling. Again, somebody who's more capable of breaking the minute barrier this morning. Will be in and around that time, I presume, and will predict. Sophie Maguire, Mid-Sussex. Jennifer King, East Kilbride. Lauren Cox of City of Coventry. Kathleen Dawson I've mentioned. Lily Bosley, City of Sheffield. Tegan Drew of Plymouth Leander. Swim Gwyned's Meddy Harris. And Molly Allen of Loughborough University. The penultimate heat of the 100 backstroke for women. And it's this time all happening on this side of the pool. And happening in particular with Lucy Hope, who's, Lauren Cox is a very good start for Coventry. And going well at the top of your picture is Meddy Harris of Swim Gwynedd as well. 3 and 4 going to the wall together, and nothing to do to separate them. And also Maddie Harris in lane number 7, 29.97, just ahead of Kathleen Dawson and Lauren Cox. There's going to be probably about 4 in the line, 5 in the line, possibly here with 25 to go. Boy, this is tight, but Kathleen Dawson now just starting to, well, let's say, dominate the race. She isn't quite yet. Maddie Harris is sticking in there for Swim Gwynedd on the far side. We expect Kathleen Dawson to clear the rest of them out here, but it's only going to be about half a body length, if that much, for Kathleen Dawson. 61.87, so not quite as quick as I thought it might be in that one. Second, Lauren Cox of City of Coventry, and third, Lily Bosley of City of Sheffield. Of course, she can save a little bit in reserve because she'll be back for another crack at this tonight.
Yeah, I think for these athletes, they're almost used to having semi-finals, aren't they? And here there is none. It is just straight to finals. So some athletes that you see, like Jacob Peters in that butterfly, just totally goes for the heats, and it's really great to see that. Some athletes are going, you know what, I'm just going to save a little bit in the tank because we want to make that world's team tonight. So I want to kind of save a little bit more fuel for later on in the finals.
What was the old formula? 3%, 2%, 1%, wasn't it? Heats, semi-final, final.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which obviously, if you haven't got a semi-final, it kind of goes out the window. But
I never had semi-finals for
but
800.
No, but exactly.
Thank goodness for that.
No, exactly. But when you get to Worlds, obviously you do get a semi-final. So there always used to be 3% outside, 2%. I mean, obviously, you're looking to do personal best all the time, but not always possible.
No.
Under backstroke, heat number 9. There's quite a Loughborough contingent in this. 3 of them. Charlotte Evans in 2. Georgia Davis in 4, and Harriet West in 7. So just a quick word about Georgia Davis. Obviously swimming under the Loughborough colours, even though she's not Loughborough, strictly speaking.
She obviously trains out in Turkey with James Gibson, and Georgia's just one of those that I think we've always associated Georgia, well, I have, certainly more with the 50 metres, but actually over the past couple of years, she's really, really been working on that 100, and she's swam some fantastic swims, obviously breaking that minute barrier over and over again, and now having that personal best time of a low 59. She's one of those fantastic athletes that is always world class. She's always very reliable. That's what I love about Georgia, that she'll always step up and deliver.
I would use the word, it's not a disparaging word, metronomic is how I describe Georgia Davis. She gets in and does it, and it's quite routine. Doesn't have highs and lows. She's always pretty much on point.
No, I don't think she would not take that as a compliment, Bob.
Cassie Wilde also going well for University of Stirling, and they're having a decent old race here. Lane 4 and lane 5, Loughborough against University of Stirling. Also, as we mentioned, she's actually based in Turkey, but has to swim under a British club flag, and she's doing just that. Georgia Davis, not quite getting inside the minute, but not too far shy of it. 1:00.75 for our winner. Cassie Wilde in second place, and third is Alicia Wilson of Guildford.
I think Georgia will be really happy with that from a heat swim. Same as Jess Full of Love. I think going that minute mark this morning, and then just kind of hopefully can break that barrier tonight in the final by dropping that second. You tend to drop naturally anyway in an evening swim, a final swim. So hopefully we'll see some fast swims from these girls.
That's the result of Heat 9. We'll tell you who's qualified for the senior final next. Here they come. And there are the 8 who will go forward to the senior final tonight, the open final that is, with Lily Bosley taking that final position, Jessica Full of Love, Georgia Davis, and Cassie Wilde, the 3 fastest times of the morning.
For the World Championships, their time, the first place time is a 59, sorry, not a 29, that's very fast. A 59.1 and a consideration time of a 59.4.
Well, that's in range.
It's definitely in range. Yep. Just over a second. Hopefully them girls can get close to that tonight.
No, I'm particularly, as I mentioned yesterday, particularly interested to see how this next event turns out, because it's an integral part of Great Britain's for the Worlds and for the Olympics next year, part of the 4x1 medley relay team, because we know all the other building blocks are in place. We're not worried about the butterfly, we're not worried about the breaststroke, obviously, or indeed the freestyle. We have options, actually, in a couple of those. But the backstroke is the only one that gives me any cause for concern right now.
Yeah, and I think that is justified as well. And for the Worlds as well, it's so important. Obviously, the relays have become such a big part of kind of the British programme, I think we've always kind of overlooked, we've always been solid at them, but we've never kind of specialised in them, whereas over the past couple of years, we've just had so many incredible relays. And at World Championships, if you finish in the top 12, it's how you qualify a team for the Olympic Games. So they're really, really important for our relays at the World Championships.
We'll see Luke Greenbank, we'll see Nick Pyle, we'll see Xavier Castelli and others later in this programme, but we'll get on to heat number 1 of the 100 backstroke. And when we get to heat number 2, I'll talk about one particular swimmer I'm really impressed with, who could be a big star if he gets everything right, but we'll get on to him shortly. Conor Massey of City of Glasgow, Daniel Chada of Bishop Stortford, and Lewis Choron of Hastings are our 3 swimmers in the opening heat of the 100 backstroke, and only one of them has been under the minute mark before, and that is the Bishop Stortford swimmer in lane number 4. And all 3 of them, look at them, it's almost like there's a piece of string running between them, can barely separate them. They're starting to separate out a little bit now with Conor Massey, but not by much. This is going to be a bit of a blanket finish between 3, 4 and 5 here. Little echelon suggests that Conor Massey of Glasgow might get there first. Can he get there under the minute? He's going to do that. I think he's going to break the minute for the first time. Yes, he does. 59.15 for our winner.
Smashed it.
Yeah, and our second place swimmer also going inside his personal best with a 59.92. So top 2 there with the time. Right. Having watched quite a lot of the Swim England Northeast events over the last couple of years, Ryan Zhao of Newcastle in lane 6 has everything, has all the tools, has all the build to be a fantastic backstroker.
He's only 15.
He's only
as well.
15, and I saw him when he was 13, and he just broke out of the pack. And people in Newcastle are getting very excited about it. Just watch and see whether he's making the kind of progression he needs to make. This is my only worry. As we've seen loads of times with juniors coming through at 13 and 14, they don't always push on. He has all the tools to do that. Let's see whether he can do it.
Well, he's the only 15-year-old in this whole event. Everyone else is kind of 16, 17 plus, so he is the youngest by...
Yeah, and there he is.
The only one.
That's actually Alfie Scott in 4, but there are 2 Newcastle swimmers in this one. Alfie Scott in 4, Ryan Zhao is in 6. Now, keep an eye on him. And the black cap on the top of your picture. Let's see whether he can keep up with the others. I'll tell you who's gone off really, really quickly is Shakil Gordani of Haringey in 1. And obviously this is a 2-length event. So leading at 50 doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be leading at 100, but there's 5 of them going to the wall pretty much together. And Gordani from Clement, from Rutter, from Zhao in 4th place. Now, I associate Ryan Zhao probably more with the 200 than the 100, but let's see whether he can come through the back end of this. I tell you, Shakil Gordani of Haringey is swimming particularly well. Simon Clement trying to keep with him, and it's 4 or 5 almost in a line here. Might well go to Simon Clement of City of Sheffield. Good finish. Clement takes it in 59.66. So slight improvement from him. Ryan Zhao back in 6th. Yeah, still a bit of work to be done there. But certainly a name to watch for the future, because I've been impressed with him when I've seen him in Northeast Counties meets before now, and I think there's a lot of potential there if indeed he pushes on.
Well, Ryan had a great start there. And being 15, I mean, he's the only 15-year-old in this whole event. That must give him with some confidence. He is the youngest. He's got a long way to go. Because, guys, you do often see that men peak a little bit later than the girls. So he's got plenty of time.
Heat 3, that's your lineup with Mark Edmondson of Team Bath, Nicholas Skelton. No, not the person who used to do equestrian events. In 2, Raiz Wiley of Plymouth, Olivier Taverner of Mount Kelly, Harvey Jones of Stockport, Cameron McKay of Leatherhead, Keir Edgar of the First Club, and Staines again with Ross Philp, who we saw earlier back in for the 100 backstroke. Again, they're all around the 59 mark, 59.3, 59.4. So we're able to break out of that pack and get into a 58. Well, it is interesting. The only difference with backstroke in terms of differential is the way people start sometimes. Some people start vertically, some people start with a kind of arch back.
Lane 4 didn't have a good start there,
No.
right? Yeah, the start, I think it's, like you say, though, most backstrokers, they do have very similar techniques. So I think the way that you can gain a lot is from the start, the underwater. You tend to see a lot of backstrokers going and utilising that 15 metres. And spotting the finish is always a tricky one as well.
Now, Oliver Taverner, who you mentioned in lane 4, actually his reaction time was okay. So I'm not quite sure what happened off the start because his reaction was fine. So when he actually got into swim, and he's just going backwards at the moment, he ain't going to be in the mix at all for this one. Harvey Jones, the Stockport Metro, however, will be. He was leading at 50. Looks like he may well be winning this at 100. Is he going to be? Yes, he is. Going to come in nice and smoothly to finish in a time of 57.75. That's a huge step in the right direction. Entered on a 59.36.
He surprised himself.
Yeah, that is looking at 57.75. Is that right? Yeah, it is. I assure you it is. So he's got. So he's jumped the 58s altogether and gone straight to the 57s. 57.75. Keir Edgar.
He's obviously been training with Thomas Howdell, who we saw win that 50 metres backstroke that will go in Heat 9, who was obviously had a phenomenal swim yesterday. So I'm interested to see what he's going to do over this 100 metres.
Heat number 4 of 9. Ryan Robertson of City of Glasgow, Alexander Harris of Stirling Swim, Moritz Hoogers of Windsor, Charlie Poole of City of Leicester, Billy Dewhurst of Preston, Jonathan Adam, Ellesmere College, Sam Perks of Plymouth, and Cameron Brooker of Wickham District. 59.0, 59, there's a 58.9. But everybody's around about the high 58s or low 59s in this one. And it'll be a way to a decent start this time, and particularly good start from Maurice Hoogers of Windsor in lane number 3. They're starting to join him a bit more now with Jonathan Adam, Samuel Perks and Cameron Brooker on the far side. But lane 3's had the better of the first 50 by the looks of things. Might just get there for one. No, it's not. It's because that's a very good last 10 to 15 from Jonathan Adam, just edging out Cameron Brooker for that turn. Sam Perks, Billy Dewhurst, but this is a very competitive one. And again, we're looking to the far side of the pool, 6, 7, 8, for a potential winner here. Jonathan Adam, Samuel Perks, Cameron Brooker, all in a line, and the only one who's not in that little group down in lane 3 is Moritz Hoogers. Oh, I don't know, I'm going to call this one maybe 7, maybe Samuel Perks. Yeah, 57.80. And we are seeing sizable chunks taken out of personal bests here this morning. 59.25 he was entered in on. 57.86. So again, somebody who's bypassed the 58s, gone straight to the 57s. And some other personal bests there. Cameron Brooker down to the 58s. Jonathan Adam likewise.
It's always amazing dropping a huge chunk. I mean, a personal best is a personal best, isn't it? You've got to be happy no matter what. But at the same time, when it's a good second, makes it even the better.
Well, we're seeing plenty of those. Fastest time so far was that of Harvey Jones, 57.75. Heat number 5. Getting to the big names fairly soon. But this one contains Mark Ford of City of Glasgow, Saragans of City of Birmingham, Swansea University's Harry Turner, Thomas Thornley of Loughborough University, and Benjamin Stagg, also of Loughborough. Mount Kelly's Alex Mason goes in 6. Aaron Bostock of Pioneer in 7. And Thomas Clare of Team Ipswich in lane number 8. 58s throughout the whole of this pack. So see where they can jump from 58s down to 57s, maybe down to 56, who knows. Lane 6, good start from Alex Mason, the 18-year-old from Mount Kelly, at the top of your picture. And I think he's going to be the clear leader at the turn.
Everyone else is in a line.
There's nothing to choose between them. Look at that, 28.17 down to 28.98. So less than a second separating 2 down to 8. But our leader, if he can maintain this, is going particularly well and carrying it on. Now it looks like they're going to catch Alex Mason, who is second youngest swimmer in this field. and giving the Mount Kelly team a lot to get excited about, a lot of noise coming from them, because he's not going to relinquish this lead. He's led from pretty much the start to the finish, and 57-1 will get the job done in a big way. Over a second inside his entry time, 58.48 down to 57.21. Second place going to Leo Saragens of City of Birmingham.
Something about a 57 this morning, isn't there?
Just a reminder to you, if you haven't told friends, colleagues and loved ones, then youtube.com/British Swimming is where they need to be, as indeed that's where you are this morning. And be here for the final session. We're on air again tonight at 6. Take you through the pre-race routine with John and James, and no doubt Becky will be in studio as well. Then we're live with the action from 6:30. Plenty more action to come here yet. So we've got the women's 200 breaststroke to come. So we've got the women's 800 freestyle to come before we conclude the morning program. And we've still got big names to come in the 100 backstroke as well. As we move on to heat number 6, Michael Rees of Nova Centurion, Ian Evans of Millfield, Samuel Pease of the University of Stirling, Neil Wiley of Manchester Aquatics, Alexander Armstrong Guildford, Mount Kelly's Jacob Newcomb, Daniel Jennings of City of Oxford, and Joe Watt of the City of Glasgow. And lane 4, Neil Wiley has had the best of the first 50 and should turn in first place, and does. 27.61 for him. Alexander Armstrong in second place, and third is Daniel Jenkins. Keep an eye on lane number 7, because it's a fast finishing here from Daniel Jenkins, sorry, of City of Oxford. And then there's 3 in a line, 4 in a line pretty much. Then this one's going to come down to who's going to touch first. It could well be, and will be, Alexander Armstrong with a 57.61. So down into the 57s he goes. Neil Wiley in second place from City of Manchester Aquatics, and third will be Daniel Jenkins. Finals will confirm with 58.16.
I feel like those junior finals tonight, it's just going to be 57, 57, 57, 57. Nothing going to be separating them.
Yeah, 57.21, a 57.61, a 57.86, 57.75. That's been the last 4 heats. But we should see that change now as we move into the faster swimmers.
Hope so.
I want you to say it this time. What have we entered now?
The fastest 3 heats.
That's a cop-out. That's a complete Becky Adlington cop-out. That's unlike you. You normally like a challenge.
Cyclically seeded?
That's right. See, you can say it. Still think there should be a better phrase to describe it, mind you, but still, we've got what we've got, we have to deal with it. So
Fastest 3 heats?
Yeah, yeah. It's just, yeah. Heat number 7. There's an argument going about what we should call it here. Jacob Davis of City of Birmingham in 1. Charlie Brown, City of Sheffield in 2. Liam White, Swansea 3. Xavier Castelli. Yeah, all right. You win. 5, Daniel Cross of Loughborough. 6 is Scott Gibson of Edinburgh. 7 is Thomas Gilroy of Stockport. And 8 is Oliver O'Halloran of Derwentsside. They've completed the 50. And who's where? Well, Daniel Cross is leading. Xavier Castelli in second place, joint second with Thomas Gilroy. And in fourth place is Charlie Brown of City of Sheffield. Xavier Castelli with that 54.6 as his entry time. So he should be the one who emerges as the winner here, but he's not at the moment. Lane 5, Daniel Cross of Loughborough is leading the way. Now, can he hold on? Because Castelli is coming back onto his shoulder. And Castelli is now just going to take over the front of the race at the right time, just at the end, with a 55.83. Fastest by quite some way, as we expected it would be. Second, Charlie Brown of Sheffield, and that's a half-second PB for him. And third is Liam White of Swansea University.
So what do you think? Do we need a 53 boy on the 100 for the relay?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I don't think we'll get a goal without it. I think 53 is a necessity.
Well, we've got 54 lows, haven't we?
Yes.
He just needs...
Nick Pyle's done it, Luke Greenbank's done it, Brody Williams has done it. You know, there are those in the 54 mid-range, but they've got to find a second, I think, for next year. Now, it may not happen here, but we're talking about Worlds obviously later in the year, and obviously maybe more importantly the Olympics next year. But you know, I think 53 is an absolute must. If we don't see a 53, then I think it's silver potentially, but to challenge the Americans, it needs to be a 53. Joe Litchfield, younger brother of Max, goes in 1. James McFadden of Loughborough in 2. Martin Walton of the University of Stirling, brand new protege. He's been obviously around for a couple of years now. Nick Pyle, 19 years of age, from Newcastle, goes in 4. Part of the quartet did so well in this very pool of the European Championships last August. Oliver Fitt, University of Stirling, Jack Shillinglaw of Loughborough, Oliver Fairman of Poole. So come on, let's see what you got. Nick Pyle, I'd like to see him actually take it on this morning and show us what he can do. He's being flanked by Martin Walton at the moment. In fact, there's 3, 4 of them and pretty much in a line going to the wall together. It's going to take the clock to separate this one out. No, it's very tight indeed. Martin Walton just ahead of Elliot Clogg of Sheffield, and in 3rd place Joe Litchfield. And the moment Nick Pyle's got a bit of work to do.
He does, and down here in lane 1, Joe Litchfield is storming it.
Max's younger brother says, Nick who? I'm not even thinking about him, I'm thinking about myself. I want to win this. Now he's got an entry time of 57.07. Well, he's going to the right of his lane now, but he's just going to hang on to win this one. 55 no less for Joe Litchfield. 55.15. Nick Pyle at 55.8.
Didn't look easy for Nick Pyle there.
Didn't.
Hopefully he's just saving something for tonight, but Joe Litchfield from an outside lane, what a swim.
Well, let's hope that's going to carry on for Max later in the week. The 200 IM and the 400 IM. Of course, Joe's doing the 200 IM. I think he's maybe doing the 4 as well. He's certainly doing the 200. And that's good. 55.15. Again, because he's 21, I'm not quite sure whether his entry time is his best time, but that was a 57.07. He's down to a low 55 now. Well, we have 3 potential swimmers in this next one who could get down to below 55. Craig McNally in 3, Luke Greenbank in 4, Brody Williams in 5, all capable of getting into the 54s. Larry Gardner of University of Stirling is in 1, James Oxborough of Loughborough University in 2, then we go down to 6, Joseph Small of Swansea University, Thomas Howdell, who did so well yesterday, of course, don't forget he won the 50. So we're going to see what he's going to do today for Stockport Metro, and Harry Noble. So we need to keep an eye on lane 7 here, don't we, to see whether he can back up his 50 swim.
Well, we know he's definitely going to be good the first 50, don't we? It's whether he can bring it back. But yeah, for Luke Greenbank and Craig McNally, I do associate them a tiny bit more with the 200, but for these guys, it is kind of such a great opportunity to be part of that relay that I'd be surprised if they've not been working on that. And obviously Luke Greenbank training under Mel Marshall there at Loughborough. That first 50 looks so smooth and easy for Luke, and had a great turn as well.
Well, it looks like Luke Greenbank is going to take this even at this stage, unless somebody can come right back to him. Brody Williams is trying, but not succeeding. And no sign of Craig Bernal is going to get in the frame here. It's all going to be about Luke Greenbank. I think I've not quite written him off. I was thinking more of a 200 swimmer. Well, he's proving me wrong, if indeed there was ever any proof needed. 54.14. That's better. Much better. That's well, his entry time is 54.37. So that's what he's done in recent times. Well, he's improved on that by leaps and bounds. 54.15. Brody Williams at 54. Yeah, he's happy with that. A nod of the head.
That looked
smile.
really smooth, didn't it? Looked really good.
Yeah, that's what he wanted. Actually, let's be absolutely honest. That's what we've been waiting for a while to see from him, because we know he's got talent. He was obviously world junior champion not so long ago, and 200. So we know he's got bags of talent. It's a case of putting all the right ingredients in the right cake.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that looks super easy. It just looks in control, really good skills as well. Like, great underwater, great start. Doesn't seem that out of breath. He's not huffing and puffing there.
No,
he
good.
seems pretty happy and confident with that. So hopefully he'll sneak into that 53 marker tonight.
Well, so we need somebody for the relay at the Worlds as well. But, you know, I imagine that they will we'll wait for a confirmation on the result, by the way. I think the system's crashed, actually. That's a problem. We actually don't have a system at the moment, but we'll try and confirm that for you. I think that's the reason we can't confirm it, is we haven't got a system, but no reason to suspect that that wasn't a clean race in terms of turns. But we can't tell you that for certain. Yeah, we seem to have a system failure at the moment in terms of the timing device. It's not on a big screen, it's not on our small screen, but 54.15 to confirm for you was Luke Greenbank's time. And that was a 4-second clear of Joe Litchfield, so a second quicker than everybody else. Just kicking back in the system. And I will then be able to confirm, hopefully for you, that result is clear, and also who the 8 who will go forward to the senior final today. Everyone's looking back at the clock to make sure. Luke Greenbank obviously wants to know. .54.15 is still up on the board. They're all looking back, going, we need confirmation of that, please. Because they want to know for definite that they're going through. And we can't give you that confirmed result, but we'll let you know when we can. I don't think there's any reason to suspect that it wasn't clean and clean from Luke Greenbank. On to the first of 7 heats of the 200 breaststroke. Alice Chan of Millfield. And then we have 3 14-year-olds together. Caitlin Lansom of Stockport Metro. Jodie Dilks of Tiverton. Hermione Rowe of Stockport Metro. City of Leeds, Kiddiest Hodgson in 5. Georgia Hittner of Wirral Metro. And from Inverclyde in 7, Amy Watson. That's the 200 breaststroke lineup. And as we well know from our conversation yesterday, not an event that Rebecca Addington ever really fancied doing, to be honest.
I don't think I've ever swum a 200 metres breaststroke. I probably did when I was younger, but...
You don't remember it?
I certainly...
Or you expunged it from your memory anyway.
I don't think I would even go under 3 minutes. That's how bad my breaststroke is, but...
Well, all of these have. They've all done 240 or thereabouts, so we're looking to see somebody make a little leap forward. Obviously, we've got the big names coming from Heat 5 onwards, the likes of Molly Renshaw, Katie Matz of Stockport, and Georgia Coates. Anna Miley will also be doing Abby Wood, who's back in from that 400 IM yesterday. Will be involved in this race as well. But the first heat at the moment going the way of Hermione Rowe, 14-year-old from Stockport Metro, looking very good, looking very strong at the halfway stage with a 1:16.13 split. Caitlin Lansom of Stockport 1-2 at the moment. Third place to Millfield and Alice Chan, and then fourth is Kiddiest Hodgson of City of Leeds. Now this is the stroke that can go disastrously wrong, isn't it? If you don't, some people have described to me as the washing machine. All of a sudden, your arms are going round and round like a tumble dryer, but nothing. But you're not getting anywhere.
Or you go up and down instead of forward.
You're not catching the water at the right point.
Yeah.
Suddenly, your hands are going round and round and actually not doing anything.
Yeah, and I think this is one of those strokes that I think you progress so much as you get older with breaststroke, because it does require a lot of power, a lot of strength, skill as well. And I also think with breaststroke is you do get a lot of injury, you get a lot of knee and hip injuries as well, so it's one of those that you've got to really make sure that you're doing the right technique and good technique from an early age to stop you having those problems. But it is one of those that I think it's kind of one of me, it used to be my least favourite stroke to watch. Now it's become one of my favourite strokes to watch, because I kind of appreciate the skill and the technique and every little element that makes it up. It's a lot of timing and rhythm as well that is just incredible to watch when somebody does get it right.
It's going to be a Stockport 1-2 here, and Caitlin Lansom gets the better of her teammate in a 2:38.89, so down below the 240s for her, and indeed for Hermione Rowe as well with a 2:39.89 in second place. I think it's fair to say, without being too disparaging, this used to be a particularly weak event in British swimming, where we didn't have really anybody on the international stage who was making any inroads, and all of a sudden we produced 3 who were battling for 2 spots.
I think for me, traditionally, it was always Kirsty Balfour, and then it was kind of it kind of dipped, didn't it? There's these peaks and troughs that we keep talking about, and then went down, and then now, obviously, we've got an abundance of them.
Yeah, DQ, by the way, for Jodie Dilks of Tiverton in that one, so she won't go time. But yeah, we went through maybe a decade where everybody, who, even the top range, were doing 227s, which worldwide was nothing. Wasn't even getting people into world semi-finals. And now we're down to 222 and 221. You know, that's kind of where we need to be.
I'm very surprised to not see Chloe Tutton on the start list.
Yeah, not sure what the story is behind that. We will try and investigate and get some more details for later this week. But yeah, not swimming in any event, we're informed. Not quite sure what the reason behind that is, but we'll see if we can get some more information. But there are some other big names nonetheless who are involved. And here comes the lineup for heat number 2 underway. Jennifer Green of Wigan, Molly Monk of Dereham, Lucy Canavan of Aqua Bears, Southport's Victoria Dawson, Erin Davis of City of Birmingham, Rachel Hornby of Wigan, Georgia Gussie of City of Bristol, and Wirral Metro's Grace Gidman. First 50 completed, and it is that centre lane for a change. It's leading at the 50. It hasn't always been the case this morning, but it is Southport's Victoria Dawson with 35.87, entered in a 2:39. Quite a few of the swimmers in this race have done 2:39. We'll be looking to take sizable chunks out of that, but as you can see, not much to choose between all 8 at this stage. Probably about body length and a half between 1 and 8 at this stage. Not much more.
No, it all looks very smooth and controlled at the minute, isn't it? It's all kind of just, right, ease through the first 100 and let's kind of pick it up about the second 100.
So Lucy Canavan might get there at the halfway stage first. She does, but it's a marginal lead. It's only 0.18 over Victoria Dawson, then Erin Davis, Molly Monk in 4th place. That's where the race really starts to properly unwind, and there's 5 of them almost in a line here. 6 down to 2.
All very similar techniques as well, all very similar stroke pace. It's all very long, it's all very clean.
And who has got the slightly better technique and maybe the better kick at the end if required? Could potentially be Lucy Canavan of Aqua Bears, who will just take the 150. Does you know, Erin Davis just got that turn a little bit better than Lucy by only a 1/10 of a second, however. Rachel Hornby's right in the mix. You can see 5 of them under 2 minutes at that turn. So the last 50 coming up. Who's got the strength of the back end? And Lucy Canavan, to me, looks to have a little bit left in the tank, but she's going to be joined by a couple of others on the far side, and it's going to be mighty, mighty tight. As you can see, it hasn't really changed in terms of complexion. There's still 5 of them in the line. Lucy Canavan probably just about ahead of everybody else, all trying to make a charge towards her, but I think she's going to just, or she? No, she's not, because Molly Monk's going to get there first. Molly Monk just sneaking through with a 2:39.53, a marginal improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. Second is Lucy Canavan, and third is Erin Davis. Of course, we'll wait for confirmation of that. We did have a DQ in the first heat, but as things stand at the moment, that's the 1, 2, 3. In fact, everybody clear. So that is the now confirmed result of heat number 2. We now can confirm for you the 8 qualifiers for the open final of the 100 backstroke. Luke Greenbank, the fastest by quite some way. Brodie Williams, Joe Litchfield, Craig McNally, Martin Walton, Edit Clogg, Nick Pyle in 7th place, and Xavier Castelli in 8th. So Perry Gardner, James McFadden, and Thomas Howdle. Thomas Howdle not making it through on that one, but he will do. They won't do. Yes, he will do the junior once he's 18. So he'll do the junior final.
Transition final.
Transition final, yeah, later on today. But that's your 8 who have made it through to the final of the 100 backstroke. Women's 200 breast, heat number 3 now underway. Flora Perkin of Exeter, Lucia Grant of Plymouth Leander, Abigail Miles, City of Sheffield, Charlotte Hume of Stockport Metro, Natalia Druitt of Abingdon Vale, Ilizani Pinfold of City of Oxford, and no lane 7. Katie Shanahan has withdrawn from this one. Lane 8 is Imogen Lambert of Mount Kelly. First.
I think we have seen Katie do every other race.
Yeah.
We'll allow her to sit this one out.
She might just be feeling a little bit fatigued after all the action she's had so far. But Lucia Grant at 50 entered in on a 2:38, as indeed quite a few of the swimmers in this race are. 2:37.7 from Charlotte Hume and a 2:37.9 from Natalia Druitt. Otherwise, everybody else in the 2:38 range. And all these heats are pretty close, aren't they? There's not really anybody breaking out of the pack early on. Lucia Grant's just got the advantage here, but it's not a massive one over Abigail Miles, who's 15. 4 15-year-olds in this field. There's the 16-year-old from Plymouth Leander, who's just got the advantage at the halfway stage, 1:16.22, but not much between her, Abigail Miles, or Flora Pergin at this stage.
It's always a difficult one as well, isn't it? Spotting those turns and spotting that finish. It's sometimes that your stroke count doesn't quite add up. It's, do you go for that extra one or kind of do a really short one, or do you really glide in? It's always been a tricky one. And you still see it on the world stage. You still see it happen at the top level, especially a little bit more over the 200 when you just doesn't quite add up the way that you want it to. And unless you put all those little pieces together and you get the absolute perfect race, it then comes together nicely.
Natalia Druitt into first place from Abingdon Vale. Abigail Miles in second place. Lucia Grant in third. But as you can see, again, 4 under the 2 minutes. All looking to get around about 2:36, maybe better than that if they possibly can. This is a really nice stroke as well. I'm really liking the look of this stroke from Natalia Druitt. Abingdon is very efficient.
It is, yeah.
You can see that she's hardly come out of the water at all, does she? You know,
It's a little bit Liesl Jones-esque.
yeah. You know, you see everybody else coming quite a way out of the water. She's just bobbing, really, which is very effective and is getting the job done for her quite nicely, thank you. 2:39 for Natalia Druitt. Not as quick as she has been, but that'll do it for this race anyway. That's all she needed. Second is Abigail Miles. Yeah, I really like that technique because I always associate, you see the 50s and the head comes out quite a bit because it's the propulsion, if you like. But, you know, you go back to Michael Jameson's stroke, how low he was to the water all the time. Barely the head came out of the water, the surface of the water, and just tried to streamline his way through. I thought it was almost like the perfect breaststroke for me, Michael Jameson.
Yeah, it's all about leg kick as well. I think it's deceptive because you often think, oh, it's all about your arms and the height, but actually the leg kick plays such an important part of the stroke.
Kick it at the right time, make sure everything's, because if you kick at the wrong time and your strokes are all over, that's where it goes wrong, isn't it? All the
That's what I do, Bob.
legs and arms all over the place. Legs akimbo. What's that? What's it?
I look like a fish on the side of the pool.
It's probably why we don't talk about you in great esteem regarding breaststroke. Not one of the world's all-time great breaststrokers. One of the world's all-time great freestylers, yes. All-time great breaststrokers,
No.
no. Heat number 4, Laura Broekhoven of Plymouth, Sophie Payne of Hatfield, and Harad Evans of Ellesmere in 3. 4, Rebecca Clines of Leeds, Olivia Heron of Stockport Metro in 5. 6 is Ellie Sibbald Perkins of City of Birmingham, Harder Midlothian's Ellie Riley in 7, and Jemima Barkley is in lane 8.
She is going for it down
She
that
is.
first 50.
Now, she's trying to do a 50 time. I wonder the way she was going out there. She's leading by quite some way. Here's Jemima at the top of the picture, or she was. Not quite so much now as they're starting to come back to her over the second 50. Maybe she went out a little bit too quickly there. And Harad Evans of Ellesmere College is looking good in 3 with a 2:36.27 as that entry time. Now, sometimes they wear 2 caps, don't they? As long as she's got 2 caps on there because we get a little bit of a pimple on the top.
Yeah, the 2 hats is a lot of the time girls, if you have long hair, tying that up is sometimes an effort, but a lot of people now tend to put a silicone one on, then you goggles, and then you put one of those bullet hats on that make everything super smooth, because you can't fit all your hair in a bullet cap, so that's why they tend to go the two, but it does make your head very hot, I can tell you that.
Reminds me when I used to have highlights.
You used to have highlights.
Yeah. Last 50.
The lead is completely swapped and changed here. I mean, we saw lane 8, then lane 3, and now it's kind of coming back to those middle lanes more now, and just totally taken and just swam it in a totally different way.
Becca Kleins of City of Leeds has taken to the front, and she has an entry time of 2:35.67 and looking very good. I've seen her a few times in regional meets, and she does swim it this way. Comes very, very strongly at the end, and she's going particularly strongly here. She's broken the back of the field, and it's going to go through to win this by a couple of body lengths in the end.
Wow.
2:33. That's nice. That's a sizable improvement for her. 2:33.97 for the lead swimmer, 17 years of age. Another great talent coming through. Once you get down to 2:30, you're a serious contender, aren't you? So she's on her way to that.
Yeah, it's interesting how people swim it, isn't it? Do you take it out hard or do you come back? And I think traditionally on the world stage is making sure that you've got enough left in the tank for that last 50 metres. As it is a little bit like the butterfly as well, when the kind of elephant or the piano hits you on the back. You mentioned Rebecca Soni, that she was just going up and down in the water.
I've never seen anything quite like it. There she's in the Olympic Games with 50 to go. You think, oh, she's got this one. And it's like she didn't move for the next 50. It was like she was like a cork on the top of on top of the ocean, just bobbing up and down. The greatest breaststroke swimmer from America of her time, finding it really hard to finish off a 200 breaststroke. Really strange.
It's not an easy event.
No, but it's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in a big meet like that. Heat number 5, and we're into our cyclically seeded ones now. Rachel Taylor, Newcastle, Katie Robertson of South Ayrshire, Jocelyn Elliott in 3, who had a kind of off year last year. We're kind of waiting for her to get back to her form of a couple of years ago.
Didn't she? I think she suffered an injury.
Yeah.
I think she was out for quite a bit on injury, so it's good that she's back. It's kind of a little bit like Hannah Miley. You'd kind of prefer the injury to happen now, well, you'd prefer no injury, but if it is going to happen, you want to make sure that you're doing the right rehab. It's like Matt Litchfield that decided to take a step back, because these guys are all focusing on Tokyo, and I'm pretty sure it's the same with Jocelyn as well. She's gone, you know what? The end game, you've got to think long term in this sport, that as much as you want to achieve those between Olympics, you want to achieve lots. It is about the Olympic Games that everyone has their sights set on.
We're to a very competitive event here with, 2, 3, maybe 4, all going for 2 places at major events now. Georgia Coates will be in that mix. From Bath, she's in 4. Lily Booker of Millfield, then Charlotte Rigg, Birmingham. Amelia Morn of City of Peterborough these days, and Caris O'Reilly of City of Leicester is in 8. So Jocelyn Elliott in 1:11.12. So hasn't quite seen off Georgia Coates yet. These two might well be going stroke for stroke. And Jocelyn looking good, looking very good indeed, as indeed is Georgia. We'd like to see some times around about, well, what should we expect from them this morning? 2:27 maybe?
It's kind of a tough one, isn't it? I think for these girls, it's kind of like, do you push that hard? And I think everyone's different, but at the same time, they're certainly not going to take it easy. They are pushing each other on here. Jocelyn's not going, you know what, I'm just going to smooth this one to make the final. So they're going to give themselves, I'd probably say you want to give yourselves 70-80% this morning, don't you? You want to kind of give it something and make sure that it is tough, that you're blowing those cobwebs away, that you are putting in a good solid performance, but saving enough in the tank that they know they can kind of improve going through to the finals tonight.
Jocelyn's British record is 2:22.08. She'll hopefully get into 2:21s at some point. It won't be this morning, of course. She's just looking to qualify for the final, but she'll do that very, very comfortably indeed. And 2:28 will get the job done for Jocelyn Elliott this morning. As quick as she's been for a little while. 2:28.33. Second, Georgia Coates with a 2:30. So yeah, nice and comfortable. How's she looking at the end of that, considering all the problems she's been through? Yeah, I think she's relatively comfortable with that. Maybe they'll chat with Georgia, and they'll both be back for another swim later on today. Heat number 6. Now, Katie Matz is one that excites me because she's not one that we've talked about in the frame before now. I mentioned Chloe Tutton is not with us, but there's others who've been in the mix before. She's not yet really quite made that breakthrough, but she's right on the cusp of doing so. Yeah,
she's kind of been one of those that's been there or thereabouts, hasn't she? And obviously with living in Stockport and having the connections to the club, I know that all of them are just so impressed with how Katie trains. They say she just pushes herself every single day, that she's just a bit of an animal in training and in the gym. She'll always kind of give it that extra mile. She did go out to Australia with Mel Marshall's group to train earlier on this year. So she's kind of been around and had a different training partners for a few weeks there, obviously training with Adam Peaty. So she had a really good 50. She came second in that 50 metres breaststroke yesterday, getting that silver medal. So be interesting now to see what she does over the 100 and the 200 metres, obviously now.
First 50 looking good from a Stockport Metro and Katie Matt's point of view, 33.22. See whether Kayla van der Merwe, one of the kind of emerging swimmers from Winchester, can do something special this morning. She's entered on a 2:32. Fair place to Cara Hanlon at that first 50, but this is looking particularly impressive if she can keep it going right to the end for Katie Matz. And say there's so much expectation. She's still young, of course. 21 is in swimming terms kind of mid-range, I suppose, these days, but she's looking brilliant on this, and she's not holding back in the morning. 1:10.13, that 100 split, that's quicker than the previous heat.
Yeah, no, certainly not. She's got a really nice technique, Katie. She's so strong as well. You only have to look at her frame to know how strong she is and how powerful she is. So it's working on all those things that we've talked about: technique, the leg kick, the timing of everything, making sure that she's spotting the turns, and she does that.
Katie Matz starting to open up a fair old advantage over the rest. They're all battling for times, of course, for second, third and fourth place, but she's had this nailed pretty much from the off, and turns with that sizable advantage of 3.5 seconds over Cara Hanlon. Kayla van der Merwe in third place, Annabelle Guy Johnson. So previous best time, 2:28.33 from Jocelyn Elliott. I think just the fact that she was a second quicker on the split probably means she's going to bring it back maybe in a 2:27. Let's see. Coming towards the end, I'd imagine a 2:27's on the cards here for Katie Matz. If she can keep it going to the end. Go on, give me a 2:27. You can do it. You know you can. 2:27. Yay!
She heard you.
2:27.90.
That's a really, really good heat swim from her. And it's kind of one of those that it's nice to see some of these guys pushing it, making sure that they're not going too easy through the rounds. The time that they've got to go to make the World Championships tonight is a 2:22, and the consideration time is a 2:23.9.
Well, 2:22 is the British record.
Yeah, so it's 2:22.2 is the first place time, and then a 2:23.95 to make the consideration time.
That is tough. That is very tough. So when the British record is the qualification time. Yeah, that's. But there again, that's what it's all about.
The people that broke the British record are in the pool.
Indeed. Now, Molly Renshaw, who we haven't actually mentioned much of, in Loughborough. Hannah Miley's in there, of course. In lane number 5, Abby Wood. The two of them, of course, in the final of the 400 IM last night. Rest of the lineup is Neem Robinson, Mount Kelly. Amy Wilmot, of course, winner of the 400 IM, is in 2. Megan Morrison of Loughborough in 6. Rosanna Arnold of Guildford in 7. And Maya Hall of Ellesmere College is in lane 8. We do have a full contingent. And let's see what some of our 400 IMers can do in the 200 breast today.
This is one of their many races that Amy and Hannah will be swimming, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Molly's got, because I love watching Molly race. She's so long, so smooth. Very similar, I think, a little bit to Ross Murdoch and how he paced it. It's just very long and easy. It looks effortless. It looks easy, and I know it's not. I know it's not, but at the same time, I do always love seeing what Molly's got in the bag, and obviously we've not seen her race yet, so hopefully she'll want to put in a good heat swim this morning, ready for that final tonight.
Molly came so close to making the London team for 2012, didn't she?
Yeah, she had, again, in Rio as well. It was just been so close, but it's one of those that I think Molly's always she's always so bubbly, isn't she? She's a great character to be around. She's based in Loughborough, where they've just got so many breaststrokers, swimming with James Wilby every single day. So she's in the right place to get the job done. And for this year, it'll be about making that world's team, trying to get on that podium, and then progressing that into Tokyo next year.
Not quite as quick as Katie Matz in the previous heat. She turned in a 1:10. Molly Renshaw in a 1:11.15. Second is Rosanna Arnold of Guildford City. And then Mount Kelly, represented by Neem Robinson. And fourth is Abby Wood at this stage. But with the swimmers in there, this could change quite a bit, because at the moment, we're not seeing much from Amy Wilmot, back in 6th place.
Well, Abby Wood has really come through on that third 50 there. She's kind of like started to catch Molly up a little bit there. Obviously for Hannah Miley in lane 5, if you weren't watching yesterday, she has suffered an ankle injury. She's had ankle surgery, so we're not too surprised to not see Hannah on best form here. So hopefully she'll be back fighting fit next year.
So Molly Renshaw leading everybody else in. Abby Wood did put a little burst in for 50 there to try and catch her, but I think it's going to be enough. She's right alongside her, but she's not close enough to really make a challenge at the end. Looks like it's going to be Molly Renshaw, Abby Wood, and at the top of the picture, Rosanna Arnold coming in, I think, for 3rd place. It is. So 2:26 for Molly Renshaw.
Molly swam that lovely there. She was about a second slower than Katie Matz was over the first 100, but just brought it back so strong.
Yeah, back end speed very much in abundance there for Molly Renshaw. Second was Abby Wood with a 2:27, so that's good. So the second half of her race was very strong too. And 3rd place to Rosanna Arnold at Guildford, who's, that's a massive PB for her. 2:32 before today, 2:29 today. So that's definitely heading massively in the right direction. So top 8, Molly Renshaw, Abby Wood, Katie Matz, Jocelyn Elliott, Arnold, Georgia Coates. Hannah Miley makes it in, just sneaks in there in 8th place, so she'll get another swim if indeed she wants to do it.
She'll be very pleased with getting a second swim there.
Amy doesn't make it though, and nor does Katie Robertson. But so we'll see whether Hannah wants to do that final. I don't think I ever remember her pulling out of a final, to be honest. But
no, she'll do it.
She'll give it a go tonight. 8th fastest going into that final, and obviously quite a few of the others will be in the other finals of the 200 breast. Right, final event of the morning. It is one the lady alongside me knows very well. She dominated the field in 2008 in Beijing. We called that race 400 from the end that you were going to win that. And you stopped, you had something to eat, and they were still going, the rest of them.
Hardly.
You won that by, how much did you win that by?
I have no idea.
I think it was well, there you are, you're on screen. Fame awaits you, look.
I'm very surprised that Jazz Carlin did not break that, to be fair. I really thought Jazz was going to dip under that mark, and be nice to have seen that British record go. So it's one of those that we haven't really got anyone else coming through.
Don't see anybody in this field even getting close to that, to be honest.
No, we've got obviously a few 15-year-olds. We've got Freya Colbert from Nova Centura, and she's only 15, that obviously in a few years could start to see her challenge that. But obviously since Jazz Carlin retired, Holly Hibbett, I think, is more focusing now on the 200 and the 400. So again, she's dropped that from her programme. That it's a shame, as I think we've always had such a good legacy in this country. Sarah Hardcastle, Rebecca Cook, obviously then myself and Joe Summit and Cassie Patton and stuff. So with Jazz, so
same in the men's though. To say, so we've got Dan Jervis, obviously a great performance yesterday in the 400, but you're always thinking the same in the men's now. No David Davis anymore, of course. David's gone, long gone. Dan Fogg retired. So those we kind of associate with the 800 free and indeed the 15. Not around anymore. We need to find some more to back those up now.
Yeah, and especially when you've got the likes of, especially for the women, Katie Ledecky. She is just, I am blown away by what that lady has achieved, and she is just extraordinary. And
She's the greatest swimmer in the world, isn't she?
100% for me. And I feel so honoured and privileged to have did a race with her, to be honest, in London, because she is just, what she's done for the sport and how much she's moved it on is just incredible to see. It's now just one of those that it's a little bit like Adam Peaty. Adam has moved the breaststroke on so much, and Katie's done that with women's freestyle, distance freestyle, that the rest of the world now need to catch up. It's like, come on, guys, come on, take you with you. And obviously we've seen the Australians swim some really good, solid times over the 2 and the 400 as well. So I think everyone else is just starting to clock on, and hopefully will follow. But it is a shame that we haven't really got somebody that will probably challenge for that World Championship team for the 800. So it'd be nice, obviously, now to get to know some of these juniors, especially some of them. I mean, we've got 2 14-year-olds in this heat, seeing some of these 15-year-olds that in a few years could be our next GB athlete at this.
We might have a situation, actually, in just over a year's time where we don't have anybody in this event for the Olympics.
No.
Which is a real shame. Let's say with the legacy that you've left behind, and Jazz obviously did so well in Rio, that we actually may not have a woman in the 800 freestyle.
No, and it's looking likely that will happen, which is a shame. So hopefully over the next 4 years, it's just about timing, isn't it? You can't help someone's age, that some of these 15-year-olds, just with being only 16 next year, it's probably going to be slightly maybe too young. So hopefully for Paris in 4 years' time, and maybe we'll start seeing those emerge for the next Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. I think with having Birmingham in our sights and having that home Commonwealth Games again could really push some of these athletes on and inspire them.
Well, Alan Birchie will be hoping that maybe Amelia Rodd is one of those. She's from Ellesmere College in lane 2, and she's gone very, very strong early in the race. Got a big advantage over Laura Hodgson of Newcastle. Third place is Safira Gabani of Sheffield, and fourth is Clara O'Toole. And of course, as we were mentioning yesterday, the 1500 is now part of the Olympic program as well for women. And we've got even fewer chances of getting a 1500 swim than we have an 800 right now.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those that I think if you're a distance freestyler, it's do you concentrate on open water? Obviously, we've had in the past Kerry-Ann Payne, Cassie Patton doing open water and trying to do the double of doing the pool and the open water. And it's very, very difficult to juggle that with the schedule of the year as well, as trying to find that speed. It is a completely different thing swimming open water. It's a completely different technique, I think, to swimming pool. So I think it is always a challenge to mix both. But you have that opportunity now to focus on just pool distance if you want to do that with doing just the 4, 8 and 15. But I think some of these younger girls, and with for me, one club that stood out to me is Ellesmere College. Just the abundance of swimmers that they've had this week, but also the quality that they've got as well. And with having traditionally Alan Bircher being obviously a distance boy as well, and they've all got really nice technique. It's obviously something that Alan is working on with them, is trying to concentrate on technique, because I think with a lot of the pool stuff, you've got to have nice technique, and that's just to save your shoulders as well, because as a distance swimmer, you are doing a lot of hours in the pool. You are the first in, you're the last out, you're putting in that meterage, that you've got to have that kind of decent technique just to carry your body through it.
All right, analyse Amelia Rodd's technique for me, then she comes off this turn. What do you think?
I'll wait till she swims.
Okay.
Nice turns, though. The fact that she's going to 5 metres, again, that used to be unheard of. I remember watching Rebecca Cook swim, and for me, that was my role model, Rebecca Cook, and she used to swim with the very windmill arms,
Yes.
very straight arms.
You could hear her swim. You could close your eyes and hear her swim, because she slapped the water.
She did. She was very straight arms. It was very no underwater kick, and that's what Katie Ledecky has changed as well, is the fact that you are doing 5 metres off the wall. Turns are so important. My turns are always absolutely rubbish. So for Amelia, it's strange that, well, not strange at all. I think we've seen a lot of athletes do this. I used to breathe bilaterally, so I breathe both ways. I would make sure that I was having that balance. And she tends to breathe to one side. Amelia overdoing both sides. I always think it saves your shoulders if you breathe both sides. Otherwise, you start to get a little bit of an imbalance in your stroke. But it's one of those that she's just keeping that tempo the same. It's all about kind of keeping that a soft leg kick, if you like. I had a bit of a stronger leg kick. I had a 6-beat leg kick like the girl at the top of your screen, Cara in lane 8. I was used to have more of a leg kick, but that's because I was good at kicking. I was better at a kick set than I was a pull set. So it's one of those that for for Alan, I'm sure he's working with a lot of his swimmers, but especially Amelia on kind of picking that tempo up, making sure that you're kind of breaking it down in the right way as well. Tactics. Some people do 4 200s, some people do 2 400s. It's how you break the race down as well. But you tend to find that, and this is the shame with distance swimming, is that you are on your own a lot. You're just out there, and there's no one else around you. The field separates the field separates so much over a distance event. So it's got to be that it's just you and the clock, and you've kind of got to be used to that kind of environment, that you're not going to have somebody next to you. So expect the unexpected when it comes to that, and be able to push yourself all off. And to be honest, you've got to get used to staring at a black line on the bottom of the pool.
Well, Amelia Rod has, for the majority of the last few hundreds, had a 7-second lead. It's down to 6, but it's not been eaten into appreciably by Cara O'Toole of Hillingdon on the far side. Safira Gabani has been third pretty much all the way through the race. Let's see whether that lead has changed. It was about 6 seconds last time. It might actually have got a bit longer now. It went from 7 to 6. No, it's actually around about 5 seconds now between 1 and 2. And Safira Gabani. So the lead is just slightly dissipating, but not by a great deal. Remember, Amelia Rod, 17 years of age from Ellesmere College, with a 9:11.87. Well, she'll be inside that, or should be, if she finishes it off in the speed she's going right now. So 5-second advantage last time. Let's see on this 50 turn what she gets. 7:18. Yeah, still 5 seconds between Rod and O'Toole in second place. Gabani's just behind O'Toole now, though. There's only 0.2 of a second between Gabani and the second place swimmer. I don't think there's really much chance that Amelia Rod's going to be caught, because she's keeping that distance between herself and the others. But is Gabani going to get into the frame here? 100 to go. There's the bell to signify 700 completed, 100 to go. And the lead is now 6 seconds, or going on for 6 seconds. So she's increasing it, if anything. Cara O'Toole now with Laura Hodgson in third place. Gabani did put an effort in to try and overhaul her, but wasn't able to do so. So remember, we're looking at entry time for Amelia Rod of 9:11.87. Should be well inside that, shouldn't she?
I think we should, the two girls that are just off your screen at the minute, Laura, who's in third position, she's only 14 years of age. And like you say, Newcastle, it's been one of those clubs that over the past couple of years we've not heard as much from, and that here at this championships they've had some really good athletes coming through, and it's been nice to get to know them. And at 14 years of age, what an experience for them guys to qualify here. It might be their first time at a British Championships, and to gain that experience and hold their own against this field is incredible.
Good, strong finish from our winner, Amelia Rod. Now, how close to 9 minutes can she get? Can she get inside 9 minutes? Yes, she can. Yes, she can. 8:58.44. Sizable chunk taken out of her personal best. She was in the 9:11s. No longer. She's down to 8 minutes, 58.44. Won that very comfortably from Cara O'Toole of Hillingdon, who's taken 6 seconds off her personal best in second. And Laura Hodgson, you mentioned, the 14-year-old from Newcastle, previously a 9:11. She's down to a 9:10. So the top three are all heading sizably in the right direction. Obviously still a long way off where we need them to be, but providing they're making big inroads, and they did today, that's a good sign. Confirmed finish times for you there. And Amelia Rod, the only one to go sub 9 minutes. Heat number 2, that's your spread. Amy Davis, South Croydon. Chesterfield's Chloe Stennett. Franco Wilker of Plymouth. Mia Leach of City of Peterborough. Abby Bowden of Kingston upon Hull. Alicia Dingle, Royal Wolverhampton. Ella Dyson, 15 years of age. Two 15-year-olds in the outside lanes here. Ella Dyson of Wickham. And Millie Balding of the Borough of Kirklees. And again, all around similar times. 9:06 the quickest, 9:09 high the slowest in this field, but the age range 17 mainly, 15 in the outside lanes. And let's see whether everybody can impose themselves on this race the way that we saw Amelia Rodd do. Well, it might possibly be the swimmer in lane 6, Alicia Dingle, Aurora Wolverhampton, is going into the wall first.
Oh, I think she was just going for a 50 because she stopped.
Okay.
She didn't do a turn, so she did a touch of her hands, yeah.
So she'll get a split time, 28.78. She's carrying on.
Maybe she just missed the wall.
Yeah, it could be that, yeah. Got a stroke rate wrong. Oh, there's a wall there. Yeah. Okay, well, it'll be interesting one to see what they say about that later on. She's
still going
still
strong
racing.
now,
She's
yeah.
still leading, I think.
Maybe it was to get a 50 time, but obviously to do the race as well. There is no final, obviously, for this event.
No.
It is just the fastest heat will swim in the final. So probably for her, it's a chance to get in, do a 50 metres, but then also carry on the 800.
Okay. Yeah, just confirm that Heat 5 will not be swum this morning. It'll be swum tonight. And that will contain Daniel Huskerson, Leah Cresp, and Emily Clark, amongst others. So only 4 heats this morning, and then the heat declared winner will be tonight in the evening session. That'll be the first event in the programme tonight at 6:30. As we continue to watch, well, Chloe Stennett now of Chesterfield moving into the lead. The swimmer with the red cap in lane 2 has got to the front. She'll turn in a 2:10. Franca Wilcup in second place, Lisa Dingle in third, and Ella Dyson in fourth for Wickham District.
It's nice for these girls at the minute to, obviously, just Chloe's making a little bit of a break there, but for the other girls to have each other, because you do find, obviously, it just spreads out so much, and it's very difficult once you kind of take that lead and you're out on your own. So it's nice that they kind of all challenge one another. I mean, all through these 4 heats, they're very, very close in personal best times or entry times that they've entered. So it is always much better and always just gives you that extra little push. And for me, it's really encouraging that you're seeing these girls going 5 metres off the wall. They've all got really nice technique, all kind of pushing one another on. It's not really the morning anymore, is it? Either the fact that it's 20 past 12. So hopefully they'll have a little bit more in the tank now that they've woken up a little bit.
I can't believe you ever did this, but did you try and psych out your opponent? If you were in adjoining lanes, you probably would be in a final. If you were in 4 and she was in 5.
I haven't, and I've never seen any of the girls do it, but the boys you could tell. So when you go down to your race and you're in the call room environment, obviously there's no coaches in there, it's just you and your competitors, and there's always the race ahead and the race behind you that's in the call room with you, and you see the boys and they're all trying to hoo-hoo and like kind of spur each other on, and there's a bit of kind of
machismo going on in there, isn't there?
There is, yeah, with the boys, whereas the girls, I'm best mates with my closest rivals, would you say, with Jo Jackson. She's my best friend, so we used to just have an natter. Hiya, how'd you sleep? How are you? How's this? Everyone, all of our competitors used to look at me and Jo go like, well, these two shut up, because we used to be like, oh, I love your nails, and I love this.
Imagine you two in the call room.
Oh yeah, we just used to absolutely.
You'd won the race before you went out there, Bevan, so they went, oh, I give in, no more.
I think the
like
thing
Chinese
is,
water torture.
Me and Jo used to talk when we were nervous, so both of us, it just made it even worse, because we were always so nervous that we just used to talk.
I can imagine you in the call room. Because these days, obviously, for the big events, they have to have cameras in the call room, don't they? So you can't get away maybe with as much these days as you used to be able to get away, because cameras and the whole world's looking at you.
To be fair, even when I raced, I never saw anything untoward. I never saw anything that I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. But everyone does their own thing. Some people are listening to music. Some people are just relaxing. Some people just sit there. Some other people are kind of warming up, as in doing a land warm-up, doing some jumps, some stretching. Every single athlete in there approaches it very, very differently, gets into their zone, gets to do what they need to.
I don't think you would do this, but would somebody, let's say you're in adjoining lanes 4 and 5, would you eyeball somebody if you were going side by side over 200 metres or something like that?
Definitely, I never did. I always used to imagine that I used to do this thing with my sports psychologist, that I used to draw the curtains on every other lane. I used to really focus kind of to not look at anyone else. I used to have to focus on my own race. Every single time that I tried to focus on other people or, oh, they're doing this, I used to swim rubbish because I used to get too nervous and it's too distracting. I used to like the fact that I just imagined me and my lane, and that's all I need to do is focus on my own race. And I think that's the best way, because you can't control what happens in a race. I mean, every single time we've raced, something different happens. That's what makes sports so interesting. So all you can do is focus on your own swim.
So you and Lotte Friese, for example, if she was in 5, you wouldn't have the same kind of empathy as you have with Joe Jackson, would you?
No, but I used to really get on with Lotte. I mean, Lotte, I went to European Juniors against Lotte. So we raced our whole entire career together. And it was one of those that, yes, we only saw each other a couple of times a year, but actually we'd always really get on. We were always very, very respectful of one another. And me and Lotte had some amazing showdowns at World Championships and everything else. So it was one of those that was always a really good rivalry and always a friendly rivalry. There was never anything that was no kind of huffing and puffing or splashing each other in the swim down pool. None of that happened.
Just saving it for a book, everybody. When the book comes out, it'll say something completely different.
Not at all, not at all.
Chloe Stennett is continuing to lead and lead appreciably from the rest of the field. She's entered on 9:09.07. She'll be looking forward to, well, fairly soon, another 100 or so hearing the bell, which will signify the end of Heat 2 of the 800 freestyle, but nobody's really getting close. So I'm looking for the far side of the pool, see if anybody might make a move. Ella Dyson of Wickham District is the closest to her. Let's see what the lead is here. It's going to be around about 4 seconds, probably. Yep, almost bang on 4 seconds. Millie Balding in 3rd place. Abby Bowden, 200 to go. Mia Leach is next behind, but again, a nice evenly paced race here from the Chesterfield Swimmer. Again, a small program. They're in North Derbyshire, and
Near me.
yeah, not far away. Yeah, Mansfield and obviously the you know well from Chesterfield's not very far at all.
No,
about
not
10
at all.
miles.
Yeah, not far at all.
One's one side of the M1, the other's on the other side of the M1.
I drive through it every time I go home. One thing that still gets me with this race is, obviously nowadays, that they still hold the numbers over the thing. Have they not come up with like an electronic way of putting it on the pad?
Does it matter?
Yeah,
Once
because
you
no
see
one
it.
ever looks up. You never ever look up.
So all you ever really clock is the bell with 100
Always.
to go.
I've just been told that it is electronic at the Worlds and Olympics, so that's good. Because no one ever looks up. You will never stop in your race and look, because it takes so much time. You lose a second by just lifting your head up and having a look, whereas you'd always listen for the bell. And you do lose count.
Would you not see it a little way out, though, as you're approaching the wall?
Well, not of where your head is, because you'd still have to fully lift your head to see it because of how high they hold it out the water. They don't place it in the water at your eye level.
You're more like to see the camera they drop in the water, aren't you?
Yeah, well, you would fully have to lift your head with the height of that they hold the number. So it is good that now at Olympics, because I always used to think that. It's madness.
Last 50 for Chloe Stennett of Chesterfield. Now 9:09.07 is the time she's entered in on. So again, looking to go sub 9 if she possibly can. She'll maybe have to crack on a bit to go sub 9 here. And she's going to be in and around the 9 minutes with 25 to go. Ella Dyson's not going to catch her. So it is all about Chloe Stennett against the clock. Is she going to break that 9 minutes? I don't think she is quite. No, she's not. Just outside it with a 9:02.76. Nonetheless, still a big...
A 7-second PB.
Chunk down, yeah.
It's very good.
9:09 to a 9:02. Ella Dyson of Wickham was entered on a 9:09 down to a 9:06. And 3rd place, Abby Bowden with a 9:06.49. It's done a 9:06.43. So she's done a personal best, albeit by 6/100ths of a second. But again, it is an improvement in her time. So top 3 there, all doing best times in heat number 2. We have 2 more this morning, and as mentioned, the heat declared winner heat will be later today.
Well, Katie Shanahan, which I think, who is going in lane 1, this morning has done the 100 backstroke already. She then pulled out of the 200 backstroke and obviously is now doing this. She had a very busy day yesterday as well, so she has given herself quite a task.
With that Scottish junior record yesterday as well to add to it. So obviously on form and concentrating on the events that really mean the most to her. This is the 800 freestyle heat number 3. Give you the full list. When they're in the pool, as they are now. Katie Shanahan, we mentioned, City of Glasgow, 15 years of age, in 1. Lauren Wetherall of Ellesmere in 2. Also from Ellesmere College is Phoebe Griffiths in 3. Fleur Lewis of Barnet Copthall in 4. Iona McLeod of Dundee City Aquatics in 5. Caitlin McKay of Wickham District. Olivia Clare of City of Manchester Aquatics in 7. And Mackenzie Wyatt of City of Peterborough is in lane 8. First 50 completed. Lauren Wetherall, the 70-year-old from Ellesmere, it's on 9:03. Right on the cusp of breaking 9 minutes is Fleur Lewis with a 9:00.82. Barnet Copthall, which is, of course, the club that produced Sarah Price years ago.
Well, by the way Lauren is swimming this first 100 metres, I think she should definitely, if she carries on like this, go under that 9 minutes. She's had a fantastic start. Obviously, we talked about Ellesmere College earlier and training under Alan Bircher, having Freya Anderson there as well. They've got just so many good freestylers.
Well, she's going for it, isn't she? She's not holding back here. She wants to make a big imprint on this. She wants to be in the 8s. She wants to leave the 9s behind. And good thing about the longer events, I always like to see how the lead looks at different intervals so we can see whether anybody's making an imprint. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all pretty much in the line behind her. But she has about 3 body length advantage at the moment. And what does that equate to in terms of time? Well, she is about 4 seconds clear of Fleur Lewis. I don't see early stages yet, but she's looking strong. And it's an interesting point you mentioned there about Alan Bircher, obviously being a distance swimmer himself, with the knowledge he has from what he did as a GB swimmer. That's got to be gold dust, isn't it, to people like her?
You would think so. I mean, Mel Marshall was not a breaststroke swimmer, obviously Adam Beattie's coach, but at the same time, just having somebody that's been there and done that and having that knowledge and experience, it's got to help them, surely. I mean, these coaches around poolside, they've got so much experience. Like, you only have to look around poolside and you think, well, that person's been to 5 Olympics, that person's coached that person, that's person. We've got so many incredibly talented coaches in this country, and it is amazing to see. And it is amazing to see them when they do get that athlete that they can work with, that they can progress, that they kind of make sure that everything they know is given to them. But I think when you have one that obviously has been a past athlete, it's got to help with kind of when you talking about nerves and experience, because these guys, they've been there and done that. They know what it is to feel pressure and to feel that expectation.
Lead is changing, not by much. 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds. It's pretty much still the same distance between our leader, Lauren Wetherall of Ellesmere, and second place, Barnet Copthall's Fleur Lewis. Third is Katie Shanahan, who we mentioned before from City of Glasgow, but at the moment they're not getting close. I mentioned she's pretty much evenly splitting this at the moment, is Lauren Wetherall, and that lead is still, in fact, she's creeping up to 5 seconds now. She's taken about 3/4 of a second out of the field on that one. So the lead is actually extending, if anything. This is heat 305, heat 304 as far as this morning's concerned. So one more to come after this. Now, is anybody going to make a charge? Potentially, it could come from Fleur Lewis. She seems to be upping that stroke rate a bit, kicking a bit harder now, so maybe that 5 second lead won't be quite as big. It's about the same. Hasn't really changed a great deal from the previous 50.
We're not halfway yet, obviously,
no.
for these girls mentally. It's kind of getting through that first 400. And a lot of the time, it used to be that your coach used to tell you different tactics as well. Sometimes your coach used to say to you, right, can you try and negative split this one? I mean, I've had it plenty of times where Bill said, you know what, this race is just about you negative splitting. I don't want you to do anything else. And then I can remember seeing some of the 1500 lads as well. They tried to get quicker each 100 or do it in a block of 500 each coach. This is a really good age when you're kind of at this stage in your career where you kind of are 16, 17. You can play about with tactics.
Is it easy to gear change like that? I always think, like in qualification in the morning, if you're at a British event and you know you're very good, and you know you can basically breeze into a final, it's easy to get into technique problems or be a bit lazy or be a bit sloppy in the morning, and then you have to kind of pick it up again in the evening.
Yeah, it was just something that I always struggled with. And for me, it was all about the first 50. If I wasn't smooth the first 50, the rest of my race was awful. It was all about just kind of setting up that long and smooth stroke the first 50 meters. But it's one of those that I think I found it very hard as a female athlete. I couldn't kind of turn my speed on and off as much as the guys can, and that power. And especially as a distance swimmer as well, you don't have much speed. Like, I could never swim a 50 metres, so it is very, very difficult. So for these girls, it is about that endurance. It's about the meterage they're doing each week. It's a long slog.
Did you have a 50 free time you want to divulge?
Couldn't even remember. I couldn't even
How
take
often
a
did
guess.
you do it?
Oh, I've probably done one twice in my whole entire career.
Competitively?
I used to split faster on my 800 than I ever used to do an actual 100 metres. It was just my split to 100 metres was always quicker than if I just did a normal 100
No,
freestyle.
Bill's gone grey.
Hey, don't. He always claims that I turned him grey. I did not.
I think he's got a good case, actually, to be honest, from what you told us today.
I think that's a sign of age, not me.
If you say so.
To be fair, me and Bill used to do really fun things with the 800, and we used to each take a bet on what time I'd go, and whoever was closest, we used to buy the other one a chocolate cake. Other coaches frowned upon it, but I always had to buy him one. He was always right, and I was always wrong.
Yeah, probably not the best diet for a swimmer, chocolate cake.
You can burn it off over an 800
800,
freestyle, that's
can't,
true.
can't you? 200 to go in this one. Lauren Weatherall, 6:36. That lead is fluctuating between 7 seconds and 5 seconds, still around about 5 over Fleur Lewis. So the 1-2, in fact, 1-2-3's barely changed, to be honest, but Fleur Lewis has always been second place. There's been a slight change around sometimes behind her, but 1 and 2 has been pretty much nailed on from the start. And I don't see, although she might have a kick finish, we'll have to wait and see. I don't, at the moment, see Fleur Lewis overtaking our leader. She's got a little bit of time in which to do so, but time is running out in that gap. Oh, it's down to nearly 4 seconds now. She's taking a little bit of time out of her, but she'll only have 125 meters now to do something about it. I think it's probably not going to happen. Well, we need to look at ours, see what kind of time our leader, probably our winner, is going to get. And Lauren Weatherall's best time, 9:03. So she'll be looking to try and get on that 9-minute mark, maybe go inside the 9 minutes. Let's see what she gets in terms of a split here. Well, I think she'll be well inside that, and she's been well inside 9 minutes with that. 7:45, she'll be well inside 9 minutes.
You'd like to think so, especially over the last 50 metres. You tend to turn your leg kick on a little bit more, be able to just push it through, because you just, to be honest, at this stage, you're just desperate for it to be over.
I think we'll get hopefully 2 well under 9 minutes here. Every likelihood that Fleur Lewis of Barnet Copthall will be going into that territory. She is catching Lauren Weatherall here. It's getting tighter. It's probably the smallest gap we've seen for some time here, but I think both of them are going to go under 9 minutes. See if they can drag anybody else along with them. Caitlin Mackay in 3rd place. 4th is Katie Shanahan. And had there been another 100, Fleur Lewis might have caught her here, and she is catching her with every stroke. Now,
left a bit too much.
Yeah, I kind of wrote off the chance of overhauling her. I think it's still going to be too late, but there's not going to be much between them at the end. It's very, very tight. On that shot, we'll go to the wide shot and see how close it is right at the end as well. 8:51, that's a big personal best for Lauren Weatherall. Yeah.
For both of them.
Yeah, both massively inside the 9 minutes. Anybody else going to make it? Not quite. Caitlin Mackay with a 9:02, but 8:53 for Fleur Lewis, so she's into uncharted territory. And so too is Lauren Weatherall with 8:51. And
well, Caitlin did a bit of a second and a half PB there, so not quite under the 9 minutes, but still a personal best for her. She does look tired.
well, you know what it's like. You can speak from personal experience.
Yeah, you're glad it's over. You used to always get this really sick feeling on 800, and I can't describe it. I think it's the amount of lactic acid that you're producing. By the time you get to about 500 metres, your stomach just hurts.
How long does it take for that to go? When you're on pool deck and
You recover very, very quickly. I mean, I've got out of a race before, had my lactic acid test done, and within the space of doing just 200 metres in the swim down pool, it's back to 1.
I can remember, though, you probably remember this, Karen Pickering having to be helped out of the pool because so much lactic acid had built up. She actually physically couldn't get out of the pool.
On the sprint events, certainly, definitely. For these guys that are just doing 50s and 100s, even some of the 200s, you're going to be right up there with the lactic acid. For the sprint, for the distance events, sorry, it'll be much, much lower. I mean, I've never had my lactic acid test over 10, which is very, very low. Some of the sprinters are getting up near 20,
Right.
whereas I was half
How is that measured? How is that relative and relevant?
You just do, you do a little prick of the ear, get a little bit of blood. They do the test then and there. It doesn't hurt at all. They just keep a measure, keep that you're coming down. I think it's always one of those that's good to measure over different events and how hard you push yourself. There used to be a little bit of a rule back in the day that you couldn't get out of the swim down pool until your lactic acid test was back under 2. So it just gave you and your coach a good marker of how quickly you're removing it, how much swim down you needed to do as well. Most of the time people were doing 1,200 metres in the swim down pool to get rid of all that lactic acid and make sure that they're getting out feeling back to normal.
Good. Nice to know those kind of bits of information that competitive swimmers know, but us mere mortals do not. And we're into heat number 4, which is the nice one we'll show you this morning because the heat number 5 will be later on today. Nikki Miller of East Kilbride won. Freya Colbert, 15 years of age, from your club, former club, Nova Centurion, in 2. So Freya Colbert is the Rebecca Adlington of the future, of course.
Yeah, it's been a name. We mentioned this yesterday during the heats. I think it was the heats yesterday morning, that this time last year when we were in Edinburgh together commentating, that Freya was one of those that was seriously impressive and a name to watch. And even now this year, seeing how much she's just come on in that year, she's still only 15 years of age. That's very, very young. And she's in there, I mean, the next person to her, there's 2 17-year-olds. The rest of these girls in the middle lanes are all 21. She's only 15. The outside lane there in lane 8 is the 17-year-old. So she's up there challenging a 15-year-old against 21-year-olds. It's a great experience for her, great task. It's a shame that she just fell outside of that finals session that's going to be swam tonight in heat 5, but for her it's about putting in that good performance. She could be going to the European Juniors, the World Junior time. She's certainly within range of that.
Impressive start. Let's see whether she can back it up over the next few hundred metres for Mackenzie Wyatt of City of Peterborough. Entered in a 9:06, and she's swimming it her way, going strong from the outset. A couple of seconds clear of Nikki Miller. Molly Wright in 3rd, Freya Colbert, who we've just been talking about, in 4th place. Best time this morning, though, of course, it's kind of not really relevant because we'll have a heat declared heat later on today, and we expect probably the 3 in that to be faster than anybody else, but we'll wait and see. So the fastest time this morning is that we saw in the previous heat, 8:51.83 from Lauren Wetherall, 8:53.86 from Fleur Lewis, and yeah, get on for 2.5 seconds between our leader here. That's Michaela Glenister, and second place is Nikki Miller with Freya Colbert in 3rd place, and 4th is Molly Wright of Nova Centurion. But it does look like the chasing pack maybe just edging their way back a little bit towards Michaela Glenister.
They've got a bit of their own race over this side, don't they? With all 3 of them being together, it's kind of much harder being out on your own, whereas these 3 will hopefully really utilise each other, push each other on, whereas I doubt they'll be able to see over there in lane 8. I'm pretty sure they'll have not clocked that.
Yeah, and they'll be able to race each other. 2 green caps of the Nova Centurion swimmers, Freya Colbert and Molly Wright. And in lane 1, Nikki Miller of East Kilbride. And yeah, I think there's just a little bit of catching of our leader, but it's not appreciable at the moment. Michaela Glenister, the 17-year-old from Leicester Sharks. 8:58.75 her entry time. So I say they're all fairly similar. The fastest on paper anyway is Meg Finnan of University of Stirling, but she's not showing at the moment. Just not showing at all, really. She's right at the back of your picture there. And it is Michaela Glenister who is still in charge of this race by about 2.5 seconds. It actually hasn't changed pretty much all the way through the race. It stayed at 2.5 seconds. She's not breaking away from them, but obviously they're not catching. But now we've got 4 pretty much in a line for second place.
Yeah, Rachel's decided she wants a little bit of this action in lane 6, hasn't she? So the fact that obviously there's still 300 metres to go of this race, so I'm sure it'll stop and change, but obviously Michaela in lane 8 just kind of, she looks really, really strong. She doesn't look like she's backing off at all.
Just over 2 seconds now between our leader, Michaela Glenister, and Nikki Miller. Sorry, I stopped mid-sentence because I could hear James Goddard mentioning my name on Paul Deck, and I wondered what the hell he was saying, but I think he was being complimentary. Lead remains, but not quite as big for Michaela Glenister of Leicester Sharks. 4 in a line for second place, and they are almost completely in a line. Just breaking out of that pack is Rachel Anderson and Millfield. Third is Nikki Miller. Fourth is Molly Wright. Fifth is Freya Colbert.
Well, it looks like it's going to be Rachel. If anyone's going to catch it, it'll be Rachel there. She's really come through, overtaking the girls that are over this side. And Rachel's in the best position, really, because she could see both sides. She'll be able to keep an eye on lane 8, plus see with the girls over the other side. So she'll be watching them, and she really is catching her down here.
Yeah, it won't be 2 seconds between the leader and second place now. Most definitely nowhere near 2 seconds between a leader and second. It's just over a second now between Glenister and Rachel. She's made her move just at the right time. This is exactly when you want to be making your move, isn't it? Especially when you've got the sight of the leader just 2 lanes up from you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Rachel's got a big negative split when you check the results after this one, because she's completely back-ended this race, and she's even starting to overtake her now.
Yeah, next split might well find that Rachel Anderson's leading for Millfield. 17-year-old entered on 8:56.71, and yes, she does take over the front of the race right on cue. Second is still Michaela Glenister, still keeping the others at bay for the time being. Nikki Miller, Freya Colbert, Millie Wright, and it will be 100 to go when they turn next time. She's still hanging in there is Michaela on the far side. She doesn't want to relinquish that second spot now.
Rachel is one of those 17-year-olds that I mentioned earlier on. Hopefully she can better her personal best, which I assume is her entry time of 8:56.
Well, yeah, she's going to do, she needs a 1:11 last 100. She's going to do that.
Smash that.
She'll do that quite comfortably. Just a question of how big the improvement will be. And the 3 down below, that Bella's spurred them on as well. Nikki Miller, Freya Colbert and Molly Wright have been battling each other all the way through for the last, well, 500 metres, really, haven't they? Basically inseparable. And they might just overhaul Michaela Glenister at the top of the picture with just over 50 to go. She's struggling or not, but the others seem to be getting a little bit closer. Maybe not enough time for them to overhaul her, but there's no doubting our winner now. Rachel Anderson's taken over this race, taking it by the scruff of the neck with couple of 100 to go, and she's going to come in now. The question is, how big an improvement can she make from her 8:56.71? She can take about 8 or 9 seconds off. That would be good. If you take any time off it will be, of course, a big improvement. It's going to be 8:50.26. Here's the answer to that. So she has taken 6 seconds off her personal best with that winning time. And Michaela Glenister, who has an 8:58, now has an 8:55.32. And third place will go to Nikki Miller. Came through with a very good finish there for East Kilbride with an 8:55.99. It's a bit of a change between the 3, 4 and 5 there, but all the top 3 doing new personal bests and substantial ones too. Which is good to see. Just confirmation that we have 5 swimmers under 9 minutes. And we'll see heat number 5 tonight with Madeline Crompton, Georgia Darwin, Leah Crisp, Daniel Huskerson, Emily Clark, Maisie McCarthy, Alicia Hawkins, and Lola Davison. That's the 8 who will be in heat number 5, the heat declared winner for tonight. Well, that's the morning session done and dusted here at Toll Cross in Glasgow. Thank you for coming. Final thoughts before we go?
For me, it's been a solid morning, but I'm most excited, probably the same as you, about the men's 100 backstroke tonight, because Luke Greenbank looked very good this morning.
Certainly did, probably the swim of the morning, and we look forward to seeing Luke and the others maybe improve on that. There's the timeline for you. We're on air from 6, but we'll have the action from 6:30 for you with the 800 freestyle fastest heat, 50 breaststroke final, Adam Peaty, of course. Then the 50 butterfly, 200 butterfly, all finals, of course, 100 backstroke, men's 100 backstroke. So can Luke Greenbank get into the 53s, or could anybody get into the 53s? And then the 200 breaststroke final to round things off just after 8 o'clock. Thank you for your company this morning, and we'll join you again later in the day. Have a very good Wednesday. Bye-bye.